I'd like to call this meeting of Tampa City Council to order. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Miranda, Maniscalco, Hurtek, Young, Vieira, Carlson, Clendenin.
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
Councilwoman Hurtek will not be joining us this evening. She was not feeling well, just FYI, but Councilwoman Young will be here shortly. I'd like to recognize Ms. LaShawn. Would you like to clear the agenda for us?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Chairman and Council. LaShawn, Doc Development Coordination. There are 3 items to clear on this evening's agenda. The first item is item number 9, which is file number REZ 2622. This item needs to be removed from the agenda. It will not be heard. This case is withdrawn.
I have a motion to withdraw item 9, a second from Councilman Carlson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
And the next item, Chairman, is item number 10, which is file number REZ 2612. This item needs to be removed from the agenda. This is a misnotice.
I have a motion from Councilman Miranda, a second from Councilman Maniscalco to remove item 10 from the misnotice. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
And the last item to clear is item 11. This is REZ 2643. This item needs to be removed from the agenda. It is a misnotice.
I have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Vieira to remove item 11 from misnotice. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Is that all?
And that completes it. Thank you so much.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Motion from Councilman Miranda, a second from Councilman Maniscalco to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, item number 1 is, I'm sorry, move to open to all public hearings from Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 1. Hello, Mr. Shelby.
Good evening.
Hi, good afternoon. I have a PowerPoint presentation,
Okay.
hopefully.
CTTV, she has a PowerPoint presentation. Item number 1.
No?
Don't have it?
It was transmitted a week ago. Okay.
Okay.
If not, I can old school it if I need to.
Yeah, you use the wolf there. You can put it on there.
Okay.
If you just lay it on the glass and we'll see what it looks like. It's perfect right there.
All right.
Okay.
We'll try that. It
Go
should be
ahead.
short and sweet. Can you all see it? Great. So
Yep.
I'm Michelle Boone, Housing and Community Development. I'm here to talk tonight about the ESG Rush funding substantial amendment to our annual action plan. Some of the things we'll discuss today: the background and purpose, the eligible uses of the funding, the objectives and outcomes, and the next steps in this process. So in 2023, the city of Tampa received a special allocation of ESG Rapid Unsheltered Survivor Housing, or ESG RUSH, and about $800,000. This funding was intended to provide assistance to homeless and special needs or special supportive services for those communities that were affected by hurricanes. In this instance, it was Hurricane Ian. 2025, the city received a second allocation of $1 million to support, again, homeless services for the Helene and Milton hurricanes. Those funds have been expended or nearly expended. So in April of 2026, we were awarded an additional $1,066,228,000 of this funding. So this, the city is required to provide a plan for its allocation, present the plan to the public, receive any public comments, and then ask for approval for submission to HUD. So similar to our regular ESG funding, eligible uses are emergency shelter operations, rental housing assistance for rapid rehousing, and homeless prevention activities, outreach and other activities that assist those homeless or at risk of being homeless. They target homelessness or those that aren't able to access funds provided by other federal programs such as FEMA. The city's intention is to work with our current partners that we are funding under existing agreements to increase their allocations to streamline the programs and continue the programs and services. There we go. So for the programs and our outcomes, these are we can fund emergency shelters. We anticipate serving 400 persons, rental assistance for rapid rehousing, 50 households, and homeless prevention services in the forms of rental or utility assistance, approximately 100 persons, and then we have some planning and administration. Our anticipated budget, out of the $1,066,228, 7.5% is our allocated administration costs. Rapid rehousing, approximately $400,000. Homeless prevention, approximately $191,000. And street outreach and other services, $394,000. So again, total $1,066,000. Through this process, we're required to update our existing annual action plan, which is the current year that we're in, within 60 days of award, which our deadline is June 16th, 2026, to be submitted to HUD. We have a 5-day public comment period, which started June the 5th and ends at the end of the day today for any public comment. Match requirement, there's no match requirement, and the funds must be expended within 24 months, so approximately July of 2028. This is our calendar and next steps. Again, we are here at our public hearing on June the 11th. We are required for one public hearing in the evening. Again, our public comment period ends today as well. Our deadline to be submitted is Tuesday, June the 16th, and funds should be available once they approve the plan around July. At this time, we can accept any public comments.
Does council have any questions of the presentation? Hearing none. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak to item number 1? Okay, nobody in the public wishes to speak to item 1. I have a motion to close for Councilman Maniscalco, second for Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? I have it. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution? We have a motion to approve the resolution from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Vieira. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, thank you. If there's any questions, is our email or information to, submit any public.
You can scooch that up a little bit for those listening, watching at home.
There we go.
There we go.
We'll just one more time.
There you go.
There we go. Any questions or comments, feel free to email or call our office.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for the
Thank you so
presentation.
much.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Okay, on to public hearings. The rest of the proceedings tonight are quasi judicial. If you are planning to speak or testify in any one of these hearings, I need you to stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in by our clerk.
Do you
Thank you so much. On to item 2.
Thank you so much, Chairman and Council LaShawn, Doc Development Coordination. And if I may, Council, take a second to introduce the new staff member.
Sorry, you're right.
I have Joseph Cermak. I would like to introduce him. He is our four-star examiner, and he will work in development coordination and doing the natural resources reviews. He was in the city of Tampa's permitting department, and he has moved over to review of the public hearing processes. So we're glad to have him on our team. He earned his bachelor's degree from Iowa State University, interdisciplinary studies with 3 core study areas being community and regional planning, landscape architecture, and environmental studies. So he's here to answer any natural resources questions you may have.
And
Thank you for
tell us the
allowing me.
name one more time?
It is Joe Cermak. Joe Cermak.
Okay, Joe. Nice to meet you, Joe. Welcome on board. Yeah, we apologize in advance.
That's not a good sign.
Very good.
And
Okay.
thank you, Council. Item number 2 is REZ 2607. This is for the property at 4201 East Osborne Avenue. The request is to rezone the property from RS50 residential single family to PD plan development for the use of daycare and nursery facility. And with that, I'll turn it over to Emily with Planning Commission, and I'll come back and give my report.
Thank you. Good evening, Emily.
Good evening. Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. This site is within the Central Tampa Planning District, the East Tampa Urban Village, the Eastern Heights Neighborhood, and Evacuation Zone E. This is an aerial of the subject site, which is located here, outlined in purple. The surrounding area is predominantly single-family detached homes, and commercial and multifamily uses are further to the west concentrated along North 40th Street. There are some scattered public and quasi-public and educational uses in the area as well. This is the adopted future land use map. The subject site is located here, again outlined in purple. It's represented with the residential 10 designation, which does surround the subject site, and further to the west where those commercial uses are along 40th Street is the community commercial 35 designation. The existing daycare is on site, and the request is to add 1,600 square feet for a total FAR of 0.24. This is below the maximum 0.35 FAR allowed under the residential 10 designation. Daycares can be considered within the R10 designation. Given the site is within the East Tampa Urban Village and the East Tampa overlay, the comprehensive plan encourages development that supports a pedestrian-oriented environment, promotes compatibility with surrounding neighborhoods, and contributes to a cohesive mixed-use community setting while emphasizing the importance of adhering to the overlay standards. The existing daycare has operated within the neighborhood for several years and serves the neighborhood. However, the proposed expansion intensifies a non-residential use within an area predominantly single-family. The request increases the number of children served, but only 5 parking spaces are available, potentially further contributing to a parking spillover, queue-over, and drop-off activity onto residential streets. These conditions may limit safe and accessible pedestrian areas and create additional conflicts between vehicles and pedestrians. Planning Commission's analysis is based on the site plan uploaded on March 26th. A waiver to reduce the required 10-foot use-to-use buffer to 0 feet along the eastern boundary and 5 feet along the southern boundary is necessary to accommodate an existing playground. City staff noted that the waivers for parking, vehicular use area buffers, and staff and landscape buffers were inconsistent with the intent of the East Tampa overlay and sections of the Land Development Code. As proposed, the site lacks an appropriate transition between the non-residential daycare use and the surrounding residential properties. Planning Commission staff is aware that the city staff report has been modified and the applicant has addressed some of the original waivers listed on the site plan. In conclusion, the request is inconsistent with the Tampa Comprehensive Plan. It would intensify a non-residential use within a predominantly single-family residential area and does not adequately mitigate impacts related to compatibility, pedestrian safety, and neighborhood protection policies. And that concludes my presentation if you have any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none. Okay.
Thank you again, Council LaShawn, Doc Development Coordination. And I will place an aerial up of the subject property. So this request would allow the expansion of an existing daycare facility on the property. So I'll show you the site plan momentarily to show you the addition, the location of the addition. The site itself, the lot has 100 feet of width and the depth is 135 feet. The maximum building height that is proposed with this request is 35 feet. This is the property that's outlined here in red. This is Osborne Avenue. And just for orientation, this is 40th Street, and this is 42nd Street. So you can see the RS50 zoning that's surrounding the property. As you head further west, you have the CI zoning that is predominant on 40th Street. And then further south of the subject property, you have a couple of PD rezonings. These are older rezonings, and they're for place of religious assembly. Both of those PDs, one is from 2014 and one is from 2019. And I have the site plan that's submitted by the applicant. So this is Osborne Avenue and this is 42nd Street. This is the property boundary. This is the existing building that is on the property. This is the proposed new building. It contains approximately 1,600 square feet. You would enter the site here on 42nd Street, and you can exit the site on Osborne with the one-way travel there. There are pedestrian connections provided with walkways from each point of entry to sidewalks or either walkways internally on the site. What was referenced is at the time the staff report was initially drafted with Planning Commission, Urban Design comments were not updated. Urban Design comments were updated. This site is in the East Tampa overlay. They are allowed parking offsets. Those parking offsets adjust their required parking. So their required parking is 5 spaces, they're providing 5 spaces. They do not need a transportation waiver, and they do not need a waiver to the overlay. They are meeting the standards. The one inconsistency that remains on the site is related to the trees. So to the south boundary, you have a tree that is located here, and that is marked for removal. That is a tree that's rated B7. And that was the area of concern for natural resources. There's a tree in the center of the site, near the center, and that will be removed. But there was not an objection to that removal, just given its proximity to the site in a new building. But that's the one remaining inconsistent on the site. And I have the aerials. So the existing building, I have photographs of the existing building. Let me zoom out a little bit. So this is the north elevation of that modular. This is the east elevation. This is the south. And then this is the west elevation. And then I have the elevations of the new building. And so this will be the north elevation. This is the south elevation. This is the east, and then this is the west. And then I have pictures of the site. So this is the property on 42nd. That's if you're looking at the site, looking east. This is a better view of the property that's entering the site. This is that drive for the entry. That parking exists on the site today. And that was through the 2001 approval, which they currently have for a special use for a daycare. This is another view of the site. This is the west end of the property, location of the new structure. This is west of the property, across the street. This is northwest of the property. This is north of the site. And then this is south. There were there's a total of 2 waivers that are requested on the site. One is to reduce the 8-foot VUA along the north to 0 and along the south to 5 feet. There's a request to reduce the landscape buffer from 15 feet in a 6-foot masonry wall to 5 feet with a 6-foot PVC fence on the south, and then to 0 on the east for the playground equipment. And the applicant can talk a little more about that because they are going to provide the 10 feet. If playground equipment is on the site, then it's not considered as open landscape area. So they're agreeing to provide that 10 feet and put that on the site plan in between first and second reading. The second waiver is to 27284.2.5, and that's a request to remove 2 non-hazardous grand laurel oaks, and those are the ones I showed on the site plan earlier. One is tree number 6, 34-inch grand oak, rated C7. The other is tree 18, a 39-inch, rated B7. And with that, staff found the request inconsistent, and that is due to the findings from natural resources on the site. There are site plan changes to be made between first and second readings should council approve the request. I'm available for questions.
Council have questions? I have a question about the parking.
Sure.
So they're doubling the amount of students. They have 5 spots, but it doesn't require any additional parking?
So the parking itself is based upon employees. So that would be the breakout of the parking.
How many employees?
I believe they have allotted for 1 employee, well, I think there's 8. If this would zoom in, if it focuses in.
Maybe CTTV might help you with the focusing.
I think there's 8.
5 spots and 8 employees.
Yeah, 8 employees.
8
that's correct.
employees.
With 5
Point
spots.
0.05 per employee is required.
Interesting. And
For
nothing,
8.
and no parking spots for the use itself.
No, it's that and any vehicles they may have. Like if a daycare facility had a van or a pickup van that they utilize for the kids, that would count also towards parking, but not for, I guess, because the occupants of the daycare are typically kids or you know, the age group.
Yeah, they don't parachute in.
They don't. But I think the thought is that adults drop them off and then they come pick them up and leave. It's momentarily. It's not that they park there.
But is there a drop-off area? Is that?
And that would be this Circle Drive area, which is why they created this with that one-way entry and exit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that way they can pull in, drop off, and leave out, and it kind of controls the traffic with the one-way directional versus
Okay.
having two-way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Young?
The removal of the tree, is there the reason why? Can you put the plan back up so I can see?
Hey, it sounds like Joe is up.
His debut.
Of the B7?
So I believe the applicant is gonna speak to that a little bit, but I think the thought is that they may attempt to save this tree. The thought was to try to save it. The waiver is there in case they cannot save it. As you know, with the PD, if they don't request a waiver now, they won't be able to come back and get it after. Or if they
Okay.
go to permitting, they won't be able to obtain it. But through speaking with them, through the applicant and their team, they stated that they felt like they may be able to pave this area, add that additional paving, and still maintain the health of this tree.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Anything else?
Thank
Anything
you.
else? That's it? Applicant? Good
My name is,
evening.
William Henry. Just by way of introduction, I'm a former chairman of the Planning Commission, probably during the time that Councilwoman Miranda was first elected. So I'm a blast from the past, but I'm here to represent the architectural firm. Janae King, who's the applicant, is here to speak to some of these topics. We've done everything possible to save that tree. We've, a tree requires a 10-foot green area radius on it, and by sliding the buildings north, we lose the parking spaces, and we can't accommodate the parking. So that's not going to be. I know we've had conversations with Deshaun trying to work it out, but there's an agreement in place with the owner to the south to remove the tree, and we have to make that request and ask for that waiver. There will be a PVC 6-foot high fence to buffer it, and if there was any way possible, we would absolutely do it, but we can't because we'd lose the parking. Staff did make a recommendation of a couple of site plans, and unfortunately, those site plans didn't really work out where we could make the program work. As far as the other waivers are concerned, as far as the overlay district is concerned, we're in conformance. We're attempting to make the site as walkable as possible. Trip generation is mostly in the immediate area, so the impacts to the roads are mitigated. We've done everything we could possibly do to work it out, where we're mitigating the impacts to the south, the single-family neighborhood, and to the east, the single-family. So the relationships with those two neighbors are excellent. Janae's here to speak to that. She's the applicant. As far as the number of students, she'll speak to the number of students and the number of teachers they have there, and why the parking, maybe to the staff member of Planning Commission, maybe looked to be onerous, but it isn't, and Janae will explain why that is. But again, if it was possible to save the tree, we would do it. We've entered into an agreement to remove the tree with the neighbor to the south, so there's cooperative agreement signed in place to remove the tree and to have the buffers between the two properties, and there's an excellent relationship with the neighbor to the east. With that said, I'd like to introduce Janae, and she'll speak to the operation and why we've done everything we can to mitigate the impacts to the surrounding neighborhood. Thank you.
Good evening. Start with your name, please.
Good evening. My name is Janae King. So the application in question, it will increase the capacity by about 26 kids. I did speak to both neighbors. They weren't in opposition of the daycare per se. The one neighbor did sign the waiver for the tree. I did inform him that I would put a fence up. And the project is important to me because we serve children that have unique abilities. There's a lot of centers in the area that won't accept those kids. And so we put ourselves in a position where we're accepting kids that parents don't have other places to put them. We've been in the neighborhood for years. We had a center around the corner that we've closed. And we have a lot of community support. We do a lot within the community. And so I would just like to see this approved if at all possible so that we can continue to serve the children in the neighborhood. A lot of our staff walk to work, so it serves them and their kids. The parents, they're able to walk to work and bring their kids. They don't have transportation that would otherwise allow them to bring their kids to daycare. So it plays a very important role in our community.
Very good. Okay. Does that complete y'all's presentation?
Yes.
Does council have any questions of the applicant?
Oh, I would allow, can I allow Miles Fisher to speak on my behalf?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, you still have time.
Yes, I'm Miles Fisher. I'm with RGA Design, we're the architects. I'm the manager of design operations there. I don't know if it's possible to pull up the PowerPoint that we did. If not,
If you submitted it,
We
does
did.
CTTV have a PowerPoint for this presentation? Yeah, there we go.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I just thought I would pull this up, show you the efforts that we've made. Obviously, we've gone through meetings with the DRC and everything to try and accommodate the overlay districts, accommodate the transparency requirements and the embellishment requirements and everything. We've brought the building closer to the road to accommodate for that whole walkability, the goal of this neighborhood. And we're including a bike rack as well, so that should help. Benches and shaded areas for people who are walking in the neighborhood. I may be biased, but obviously it's an attractive looking building that we're putting at the front of the street. And, we're just making an attempt to, help improve the community. So that's all.
Very good. So does that complete your presentation of the applicant?
Yes, sir.
Janae might talk to this. The traffic that was observed.
You have to come all the way up.
Sorry.
And start with your name again, please.
Yes, right, my name is William Henry. The traffic that was perceived that was on the site at the time that the Planning Commission staff member was there is not generated by this use. It's by an adjoining restaurant across the street. So Janae might want to say that she's accommodated that use. But the parking is actually not parking from her staff or any of her uses on that site, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sorry.
And does that complete your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Council have any questions? Hearing none. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak to this item? You wish to speak to this item, come on up. If you wish to speak to this item, you can stand against the wall, and I'll call you one at a time. Come to the podium. The microphone is embedded in the podium. Start with your name, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Bimlak Mbaye, and I'm really excited to talk about Kids in Play Daycare because they truly did have an impact on my family. So my daughter, she's 6 years old, and she's currently out of school for the summer, and she's been super excited about summer camp here at the daycare. They have like field trips. They're always doing some like activities while they're there. It's never, if sometimes, you know, most parents, they're worried about like where they take their kids, and I never had that issue here. Like, it's just so comfortable sending my kids there. My son, he has like speech issues, and since he's been at that daycare, it's like his speech has improved so much. And I really appreciate Miss Janae as well. Like, I can tell she genuinely cares about the kids. She's always asking us like for feedback, always doing something like hands-on to help with the staff, like make any improvements. So whatever more they want to develop, I feel like it'd be great for my family and other families as well.
Very
But
good.
that is all.
Thank you very much. We
Okay,
appreciate your
thank you.
comments. Next speaker, please. Start with your name, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Zaria, and I just wanted to say trying to find the right daycare and support for my son has not always been easy. I knew he needed a little extra help, but I didn't know where to start or what resources were available to us. One of the things I am most grateful for is that Kids in Play didn't just care for my son. They helped connect me with resources that I didn't even know that existed. With their help, I was connected with the Early Learning Coalition and was able to get information about services and therapies that have made a big difference in my son's development. And as a parent, that support meant everything. Sometimes you don't know what questions to ask or where to turn, and having people point you in the right direction can completely change your child's future. Since receiving those services, I have seen so much progress in my son. He has gained skills, confidence, and has continued to grow in ways that make me very proud every day. What has also made a difference is the environment at Kids in Play. They understand that every child is different. They provide smaller group settings when needed, calming corners when children can take a break and regroup, and sensory materials that help children feel comfortable and throughout the day. Those things may seem simple, but for children who need a little extra support, they make the world a different place. As a mom, all I want is for my child to be understood, supported, and given the opportunity to be given the opportunity to succeed. Kids in Play has provided that for him. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out tonight. Next speaker, please. Start with your name. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Brandy. My son goes to Kids in Play Center. My son has a unique ability and learns differently than other children. As a parent, it could be hard to find childcare that is the right fit and where you feel comfortable leaving your child every day. Having a place where my son feels included and have an opportunity to learn and grow has meant so much to us. Another thing that has a huge blessing is the location. The center is close to my home, and I'm able to walk my child there. It may seem like a small thing, but for our family, it makes a big difference. It's convenient, close to the neighborhood, and allows my child to attend a quality childcare program without travel far from home. Since attending Kids in Play, I have seen my son grow in many ways. He has become more confident, social, and more comfortable interacting with other children. It's been amazing to watch him to continue to learn and grow in an environment where he feels safe and supported. For a family like me, childcare is more than just a place for children to go during the day. It's something we depend on. It allows the parents to work, provide for the family, and have a peace of mind knowing that their children are being cared for. Kids in Play fill an important need in our community. Not only does it provide child care for working families, but it serves children with unique ability who may need extra understanding and support. These families need options too. The center like this will help make it possible. I want to share my experience because this center has a positive impact on my family, and I know there's many families in our community who feel the same way. Thank you for the time and listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
beautiful evening. Is there anybody else in the public that wishes to speak to this item? I have a motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Who's ready to read this one? I'm sorry, do you guys, assuming that nobody spoke against you, you do not have a rebuttal? Do you have a rebuttal to all the positive glowing remarks? Okay, Councilman Carlson?
Yeah, I'd like to move number 2, file number RZ 26-07, ordinance being presented for first reading consideration, ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 4201 East Osborne Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district, classification RS50, residential single-family PD plan development daycare and nursery facility providing effective date.
Including the revision sheet, correct?
Including the revision sheet.
Thank you so much. I have a motion from Councilman Carlson, a second from Councilman Maniscalco. Councilman Vera.
Yes, sir. And this is not just before, I guess, we vote. I just wanted to say to the moms out there that spoke about your kids, just thank y'all for sharing your heart on something so personal. That's like really awesome, and we appreciate it, and God bless you guys as moms. I mean it. Thank you.
I knew you were touching his heart when you were talking. I knew it. I knew it. Exactly. Very good. So I have a motion. I have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Unanimous. The ayes have it unanimously. This is a quasi-judicial procedure. There's no joking.
Okay, motion carried unanimously with Hertech being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on July 16th, 2026 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Okay, moving right along to item number 3.
Thank you, Chairman and Council. LaShawn, Doc Development Coordination. Item number 3 is REZ 2636. Is for the property located at 1502 and 1506 North Morgan Street, 1501, 1505, and 1507 North Marion Avenue. And the request is to rezone the property from RM24 Residential Multifamily and CI Commercial Intensive to CI Commercial Intensive. I'll turn it over to Emily to give her report, and I'll come back and give my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. The site is within the Central Tampa Planning District, the Tampa Heights Urban Village, the Tampa Heights Neighborhood, and Evacuation Zone C. This is an aerial of the subject site. It's represented in, outlined in purple. Light commercial is to the north and northwest of the subject site. Some single family and multifamily is directly to the east of the site. Directly south is Interstate 275. This site right here is a TECO substation, and there are also FDOT easements to the south. The subject site is right here. It's outlined in purple. It's represented with the community commercial 35 designation, which is to the north, west, and south of the subject site. To the east is the residential 83 designation, and to the south along the interstate is the Central Business District Future Land Use designation. Since the subject site is within the Tampa Heights Urban Village, the comprehensive plan encourages enhanced design and promotes a pedestrian-friendly development pattern with densities and intensities that encourage transit use. The site is located 1 block east of North Florida Avenue, which is identified as a transit emphasis corridor, and the request will provide infill development on a site that is presently vacant and underutilized, while supporting many of the comprehensive plan's policies related to encouraging development near employment opportunities in transit. Additional commercial development has the potential to contribute additional employment opportunities within the Tampa Heights neighborhood and urban village, aligning with policy guidance that supports employment generating uses in proximity to transit services compatible with the surrounding development pattern. Per Land Use Policy 6.1.13, the subject site is within a mixed-use corridor, and as such, future development of the site should address design policies as well as all applicable policies in the plan. Mixed-use corridors are identified as areas with the greatest opportunity to support the gradual transformation of road corridors where intensification is possible and encourage new housing and job opportunities while improving the pedestrian environment, the look of the street, shopping opportunities, and transit service for community residents. The comprehensive plan encourages commercial development and parking areas to be architecturally compatible and appropriately screened. As such, the future development should address land use policy 1.2.27. Overall, the proposed request is consistent with the policy direction in the comprehensive plan and would expand commercial opportunities within the Tampa Heights urban village. With that, that concludes my presentation. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does council have any questions? Hearing none. Next.
Thank you again, Chairman and Council. LaShawn, Dock Development Coordination. This request is a Euclidean zoning request for commercial intensive zoning, so there is no site plan associated with this request. If approved, the development must comply with the standards required in the CI zoning district. And it requires you to have, for the lot, at least a minimum frontage of 100 feet and 10,000 square feet for the total lot area. This property that is the subject of this rezoning has a lot width of 171 feet and a depth of 179 feet. The maximum height permitted is at 45 feet. And this is an aerial of the subject property. This is the property that's outlined in red. You can see this designation. This portion of the property has that residential multifamily zoning, the RM24. North of the property and surrounding the property to the west is the CI zoning. To the south, you have 275. To the east, you have that development of the residential single-family attached and residential single-family semi-detached approved through a PD northeast. And this was developed directly to the east by right, those units that are there. Further north of the actual property is a commercial business office that's located there. I have pictures of the subject property. So this is the property, this is at KN Morgan, and this is if you're looking north, so this is the property here. This is the portion of the site that has that residential multifamily zoning currently, and the remainder of the site has that commercial intensive as you head further north on the property. This is a view southwest of the property. This is on K Street looking west, so the property is off to the right in this picture. This is south, this is the interstate, this is to the south, this is Tico, just located west. This is north of the property. This is on Estelle, and this is that residential single-family attached. That is east of the subject property on Morgan. So development and review staff reviewed the request, finds the request consistent with City of Tampa regulations. I'm available if you have any questions.
Council? I have a question.
Yes.
With this reclassification, could you explain some of the uses, and does that include parking as a surface parking lot?
Yes, absolutely. So the commercial intensive is the highest commercial zone within the city. There's commercial neighborhood, commercial general, and commercial intensive is the most intensive. And so it allows for a variety of uses similar to like a restaurant. It does allow for commercial parking with a special use approval.
Okay.
So the applicant would have to come in, and it is a special use one, so it would be an administrative review.
Is it currently being used for truck parking? Because I got an email saying that it was currently being used for truck parking.
We have it in our system, it's just currently vacant.
Okay.
And I did, I looked in the system just because I always check the properties before rezoning to see is anything open. And we put it in our rezoning report. There wasn't anything open as far as a violation or anything.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Anybody,
Absolutely.
any other questions? Councilwoman Young.
You said it's not been, in the pictures it had trucks on it?
Let me show the property again. So is this the one you're referencing? So this is the subject property. So yes, this is a part of the property itself, but we don't have in our system a permit that is pulled for truck parking on the site. And I think the request is now for the CI zoning to maybe get them there too. And I can say, the applicant can say what they want the CI zoning for, but
Oh, okay.
What's that sign say? Can you read that, the yellow one?
the yellow, let me zoom in on it.
No, I can't
Oh,
read
it wasn't, it's a little fuzzy, yeah, I can't make
it.
it
It looks
out.
like truck parking. Yeah, it says truck parking.
Well, I hope it doesn't, we can take a look at that. What does
Truck
that,
parking, probably like,
what's underneath, oh, and there's a picture of a.
yeah, truck parking only or something to that effect.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a question for the applicant. Mr. McElhaney, are you the applicant?
Thank you.
Good evening, Steve McElhaney, I've been sworn. This proposal is a request for the changing of the zoning from RM24 to CI. And it's part of a parcel I'm going to show you. The property owners own the northern half of this is already zoned CI. And they didn't realize until we filed the application that this portion was zoned RM24. So the proposal here is to make all of their properties consistent with the CI zoning. And as you've seen from the staff report from the Planning Commission and also from the city staff, that they found it to be consistent. It is adjacent to a transit corridor. It's also immediately adjacent to the interstate, and I think, so it's tucked in on the north side of the 275, and it's surrounded by, all of this is CI zoning on the north and the west sides, and you have CBD on the south side down here. So it's divided by the interstate with higher intensity. There are no current plans for development. They simply want to consolidate the property so that in the future that they can develop it. There are no waivers that are allowed under the CI zoning. You have to comply with the zoning classification that's there. It's also in the Tampa Heights overlay, which means it has to comply with the urban design standards for that. It's part of the urban village, and the consolidation of those properties will enable them to redevelop that in the future. It is consistent with all of the guidelines, as I said, with how it should be considered to be for CI zoning. The issue of parking did come up. They were using that for overflow parking. Part of it was established for ukulele and a valet lot. I just became aware of the truck issue when I saw the letter that was filed by one of the residents. And I inquired with the company about what they had, and they did have a post up that allowed for that. That has since ceased, and anything that goes forward in the future regarding parking will have to comply with the City of Tampa code. So I wasn't aware of it until late yesterday, and then we addressed it immediately and took down that ability for anyone to do that. The issue was that they weren't using it as a permanent parking lot, but it simply was overflow and occasional. And again, that activity has ceased. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have regarding that. It's in the transit emphasis corridor. It is ideally situated for future development, and that's the intent of this request.
Is that it?
So far, yes, sir.
Who wants to start? Well, any questions? Okay, I guess it's just me. Eulele, that's like 3/4 of a mile. valet parking for ukulele? That's gotta be at least
I did,
3/4 of
I
that.
said it was overflow for when they had major events,
Oh, that's
and that was what was told to me.
okay, that's a long haul. So it's currently being used as, well, up until yesterday afternoon, being used as truck parking. But the problem with the CI is that practically speaking, if you came to us with a PD, it would be pinning down uses, but it's my understanding that CIs could be laundry plants, it could be dog kennels. I mean, I'm trying to reach back into my head, because I don't have a list in front of me, but including surface parking, which we're trying to minimize, but especially being it's right across the street from the, is that correct? Are those uses that could be in this area?
Well, you have to look at the overall area. It is all CI surrounding there except on the east side. And the east side has a very intensive residential land use designation. So you could have high-rises immediately adjacent, except that it's RM24. You could achieve a higher density by going to PD. They didn't want to go to a PD because they didn't have any, plans at this point for construction and redevelopment. But I would say that in the future, this very well could be a site for apartments or condominiums.
So maybe, if
not
that's, that'll
intended.
ask staff that question.
Yeah, but the CI zoning would also allow, heavy manufacturing for gas stations and engine repairs, and this is not an appropriate site for that. It's simply because the other properties that are immediately adjacent are already CI, they wanted to make it consistent.
So why would we expand that opportunity then to this property?
There's no reason for it to have been RM24. I mean, it's not an expansion, it's a consolidation. The CI all the way around except for this one little portion.
Okay.
I mean, I would say that, based on consistency of the property, anyone in the city would be hard pressed not to say, yeah, consolidate it. And that happens all the time. Consolidate the zoning, make it consistent, and then when it comes in under PD, then there'll be more, ability to restrict whatever the use is and how it looks and all of that. But you still have to meet the Tampa Heights overlay, which is going to determine what this is going to look like in the future.
Staff? Do you have the list of the uses that could, if we rezone this to CI directly across from that multifamily housing, what are the worst case scenarios? What could they put here?
Yes, absolutely. Council LaShawn, Doc Development Coordination, I can put the use table up for you. The uses that I've checked are uses that are allowed within CI. So there are uses like the auto rental, bank, craft distillery, commercial kitchens, dry cleaning plant, large and small. A large and small kennel is a permitted use. Dental and medical laboratory, maintenance and storage facility, light manufacturing, marina, microbrewery, business professional office, medical office, nursing care facility, in addition to personal services, pharmacy, place of assembly, light printing and publishing, radio, television studio, recreational facility, an indoor facility, commercial is an allowable use, private recreational facility, the restaurant, retail bakery, retail sales for convenience goods. All of the retail sales categories, as a matter of fact, are allowed in the CI. Reupholstery shop, special event parking, storefront residential for office is allowed, temporary film production, transportation service facility, truck and trailer rental, vehicle repair, major and minor, and vehicle sales and leasing. And then vermin control and related services, vet office, warehouse and wholesale trade,
Everything but the kitchen sink.
mini warehouse, and wine production.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Carlson.
Mr. Michelini, can you put the plan back down, or the outline of the property, whoever had that?
The use table?
No,
Oh, the plan.
The plan.
Oh, okay.
So the red square is all the property they own, right?
Yes,
So the northern part of it is they could already do all those things.
yes,
And that eastern side of it already is next to the residential. So if this is not approved, they could still put any of that stuff in half the property, correct?
yes.
If it fit. If it fit.
Well,
Okay.
they own this whole portion up here, it's doubling the size. This is half of what they own. The other half is the
We need to
southern.
send you back to geometry.
No, I mean, the southern half is half of what they own. They own this entire parcel here.
Is it, who's got the actual zoning map on this that shows?
This is the actual zoning map.
Okay, but that's not half, that's like a third and 2/3, or maybe, it's not half.
I mean, what I'm saying is that they have a vested interest in the property already, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to split it and not allow them to go forward with the CI to consolidate the property.
We can talk about that in discussion. Is it, what percentage of the lot is CI and what percentage is RM24? Do we know that?
Approximately 3/4 of the property has the RM,
So 3/4 and a quarter.
has the RM zoning.
Very good, thank you very much. Okay. Anything else?
Well, I'll be happy to answer any more questions you might have, but you gotta remember, they have CC 35 as a land use, so it's anticipated to be a higher intensive use already.
Okay. Very good, okay. Hearing nothing else, is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak to this item? If you would just stand up against the wall, please. Okay, so one at a time. If you approach the podium, the microphone is embedded in the podium. And each person, you'll start with your name, and then you'll have 3 minutes. So go ahead and approach the podium. You can hand that to Mr. Shelby, our attorney, and he'll distribute them to us. You have enough copies for all council members, or just one to spread?
Just have one copy.
Okay, is that one you also want to put on the overhead?
Well, I have one for myself to go in the.
Okay, very good. Then you can ask Mr. Shelby,
Do
and
you
he
want
can.
that, do you want that in the are you gonna be showing that?
Not the entire thing, there's just some stuff that I'm not sure was made, submitted electronically that I wanted to be included.
Okay, included in the record.
What's in it?
Okay. Very good. So this gentleman up here in the cage.
Thank you, in the arena.
Mhm. Okay. Let's let him look at that real quick. You good?
Well, does he want that in the record? Sir, are you doing this for the purposes of putting that in the record?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and do you have are you going to be displaying that for the entire council, or you just want them to see it without
I'm
explanation?
gonna be referencing it, so, I mean, I have it right here, I can display it, but I'm not gonna go through the entire, like, I have an affidavit in there, I'm not gonna go through all of that, but there's some pictures in it that I could show that's relevant to what we're discussing.
So what I'm hearing is what you're going to show us is what you really want on the record, on the overhead? Or do you want all this entire document?
All of it can be in the record, sir, but it just might be a little bit redundant to what's already in it.
I'll leave that up to Mr. Shelby.
I apologize.
Well, what I can,
Because I can do my presentation without the pictures,
no,
it just
well,
may not.
no, do your presentation. We're going to put this in the record. I'm going to give this to Mr. Michelini so he can look through this.
All right.
And if he has any issues about this, then he can do that during rebuttal.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Start with your name, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And the overhead, if you just put it face up, it'll automatically project.
Okay. My name is Leo Dominic Sala. So what I have in the packet submitted for record, it's code enforcement record, photographs of the subject site, some written statements that did not make it electronically, but also written opposition from the Tampa Heights Civic Association. So I know we're talking about what that picture was or what that sign was. That is clearly an ad for truck parking on that lot. But I want to just go ahead and get started. I live at 1501 North Morgan Street, directly across this lot. And I ask you to deny or continue item 3. Start with the city's own records. Code enforcement has an open case on this property, case CMP 26005509 at 1501 North Marion. One of the parcels is in this request. The status today, investigation in progress. The city issued a notice of violation to Accardi and Sons LLC and to Jason Accardi, registered agent, sent May 14th by certified mail, received May 18th. The city's own words, semi-trucks parked in a lot, zoning violation, this is a residential area. The city re-inspected twice on May 13th, and both inspections failed. The violation was not corrected. I'm submitting that record tonight. I raise that because the staff report in front of you, dated June 4th, still calls the site vacant. It is not. This is the city's own inspectors documented trucks there before that report was written, and the applicant's own affidavit photographs show the semi-trailers parked right against our townhomes. Here's my central point. This is straight commercial intensive zoning with no site plan and no conditions. The staff report says date of site plan not applicable, but the applicant's own certified application says the proposed use is storefront residential. If that's truly the plan, then plan development with a binding site plan costs them nothing. And their own affidavit authorizes their agent to agree to conditions. So I ask for unconditioned CI, because straight CI keeps the entire heavy commercial menu open by right against our homes, as you were just referencing, including the truck use city that I just cited. So I respectfully asked, deny the straight CI rezoning or continue it and direct the applicant to refile as a planned development with a binding site plan, capped uses, and the buffer and wall the code requires next to homes. If the real plan is storefront residential, they lose nothing. Straight CI gives the families on this block no enforceable protection. So this is a picture, I think yesterday, clearly parked. And then another thing I wanted to show, this is an active ad, Google business ad. You can find a screenshot of this today. Truck Parking Club, they actually have a review, 5-star review 2 months ago. This is going on actively. If we drove there right now, they would still be there. That is all I have to present for you guys today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, yes ma'am, please state your name.
My name is Nicole Pederica. I want to apologize, I was not here early, so I've not been sworn in.
Okay, thank you for disclosing that. If you raise your right hand.
I do. Okay. Again, my name is Nicole Pederica. I am a resident and a business owner in Tampa Heights. I'm also the second vice president of the Community Association for Tampa Heights. As you know, we have submitted a letter to you that was prepared and submitted from the Community Association directly opposing this move. Let me be clear, and I think you all know this, the applicant is in the business of parking. So it should be no mystery what their intent is by making this change in the zoning. As it has been already discussed, and as I just pulled up as we were talking, this truck parking club does actively, as of this meeting right now, display it as an active truck parking location. So it has not ceased. They could have pulled the sign out of the ground. It's still there. The parking is still happening. I will also say, as a resident and a mother of 2 children, I drive down Morgan every single day to drop my kids off to school. There are a lot of issues with Morgan. We all know them. Adding truck parking to that site, what is a transition from Tampa Heights into our beautiful downtown that is developing so wonderfully, that is not the right appropriate use. I don't care if it is consistent. We do not need truck parking in the middle of downtown. So I just want to implore you to consider that, and also what was not sort of discussed very much in the consistency reports is that the PD to the north, a block north of the site, not adjacent, but there's some commercial intensive between there. I believe that is planned multifamily residential, which is all of the development that we've been seeing and that we encourage and we want to see more of in our neighborhood. This, again, does not support that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Hi,
My name is David Aronson. I am a resident in the townhomes across the street that we saw in the picture. And I would just like to say, as the other public speakers have said, that the intensive purpose for this permit is to, or rezoning, is for truck parking. There are ads online right now. The sign may have been taken down last night. But I think Mr. Mancini and his client know exactly what they were doing. They have misled the council. They have shown a disregard for Tampa and state code. And I think that they should not be awarded this permit. And especially because they have not filed what their intent is on the application. Like we saw on the previous hearing before us, they came with specific site plans on why it should be rezoned. Mr. Mancini and his client showed no intent for what they would like to do with this rezoning. And given that there are active websites and Google ads for truck parking, I don't think that that helps with the pedestrian area of the historic Tampa Heights. There are hundreds of families that live within a half-mile radius. There's a Sprouts right across the street. People are walking there all the time. The Riverwalk is right down the street. I think adding a ton of semi-truck parking is a public hazard and not something that should be approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please. Start with your name.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Pamela Reyes. I own a townhome across the street as well at Morgan Street Townhomes. I'm here tonight to strongly oppose the rezoning request for the semi-truck parking business in our neighborhood. As you may know, the Tampa Heights neighborhood has been in transition over many years. We're moving forward with just changing and revamping the neighborhood. This proposal sets us back, not forward. And I wanted to point out 3 reasons for why I oppose this. First of all, destruction of historic infrastructure. This is a neighborhood that features smaller roads, historic paved roads, very expensive to repair. So when we're talking about these semi-trucks bearing a lot of weight on these roads, it could be just an easy way to destroy the neighborhood and the roads. Secondly, pedestrian safety. We have children. We have people that walk to Sprouts, like they mentioned, to Armature Works, people that walk to downtown. It's a very short commute here. So it would affect when it comes to safety for pedestrians. Thirdly, industrial business like this belongs in an industrial zone, not in a residential zone. It'll be noise, disruption, safety, and then the diesel exhaust for our families, for our children, for our dogs, for our own health. I just ask you to please consider that they have not been using the property according to the zoning, and I feel that the same rules apply to them as they apply to me, and that I urgently ask that you vote no on this rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please. Start with your name.
My name is Allison Fiol. I was not sworn in.
Okay, thank you for disclosing that. Is anybody else in the audience that was going to speak tonight? If they have not been sworn in, please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in by our clerk.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I'm part of the property north of those lots, and I just wanted to comment about the truck parking. There is an overflow issue. Several of the trucks now park on the street as a parallel parking situation. And when we try to exit our parking lot, there's a truck right there and buses are coming down. And you cannot see around the trucks to see the buses coming because of the height of the truck. I've literally had to get out of my car and go knock on the window of the trucker and ask him to move because I can't see. And I don't want any of our employees endangered by a bus coming down there. We've already had an incident on Marion in the past where a truck and a bus collided. And so I don't want that to happen anymore.
Okay. And what's the current use of your property?
It's a law firm.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody else in the public wish to speak to this item? Okay, I have a question for staff. So there was some testimony that the property to the north has a PD to it. Can you show that where that is?
Yes, absolutely. LaShawn, Doc Development Coordination, and this is it. This is to the north. This is a PD.
So that's the PD for multifamily?
Yes.
Okay.
And these are the other two PDs here, and this is the residential single-family attached here.
Okay. So,
Directly east, and this is the property, subject property.
and the property the square block just north of the subject property is what?
This,
The one below that, the other box, that box, north, there, between the two, between the PD and the subject property.
okay, between the PD, this
That,
one
yeah.
is just, that's just a, commercial intensive. It's an office, a business professional office.
So the person who spoke, is that your law office? Okay, she's nodding yes.
Yes.
So that's the law
It has
office.
the same zoning, I'm sorry, I wrote initials on here.
Okay,
But this is all CI, and then
Okay.
this is a pocket of CI also, and then this is that residential multifamily
okay,
within this area here.
gotcha.
Yes, and then that's the single family attached in the other PDs,
Okay, very good.
residential.
So you got RM 24 to the north. And what is that? Looks like a swimming pool below that. Is that
Sean is to the east, not to the north.
To the northeast
Yeah.
is RM 24, and to the east is RM 24, and then this is that leftover leg of RM 24. And then when you're on the west side of Morgan, you, get into your CI zoning, which
Okay.
is all of this open area is CI.
Oh, and that little piece of that parcel must be part of the bigger PD of the housing on or to the north of the
Right.
townhouses. Yeah, okay,
Correct.
got it. Okay,
This PD here.
yeah, okay. Okay, does council have any other questions? Councilman Carlson?
I think I know the answer to this, but we can't, in a category, we can't exclude one use, right?
Correct. If this were approved for CI zoning, then the applicant is permitted to have any use allowed in CI.
And specifically, is semi-truck parking allowed?
It is allowed. Parking is allowed as a special use one. So the applicant, if CI is approved on the property, the applicant could apply through our office for a special use one, which is an administrative review, to allow that parking on the property.
And then what about semi-trucks? Is there a separate category for that?
There is not. They would be able to park them.
Okay. And what's the limit? Would that S1 usually be approved then, or?
Yes, if the standards are met, then they are typically approved. It would be approved, and then they would just meet the parking standards with the width of the parking spaces, providing the appropriate buffering, vehicle use area, and meet the other code requirements.
And then if the public objected to that, there's some kind of complaint and appeal process or something like that, right?
There is an appeal. You could appeal the decision, but if the standards are met, then the application would be approved
Okay.
through the special use one criteria.
Mr. Shelby, are you reaching for your mic?
No, I'm just going to ask Mr. Michelini to return the folder of the documents, so.
So we could review?
Yes.
Mr.
Wait,
Okay,
wait,
very good. Thank you, LaShawn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Michelini?
I'll be happy to return them as soon as I finish looking at them.
Would-
There's probably 25, 30 pages here, but I won't leave with them. How's that?
Okay, then,
Okay,
well,
but-
we're gonna
but
have
do
to
you
have time
want-
to review them as
Do you
well.
want
so
do you want the opportunity to review them?
I've seen what they
actually,
say.
Let's take a 10-minute recess, a real 10-minute recess. We'll be back here at 6:30, okay? And in the meantime, could you give us enough time to copy them, so we'll make copies for council as well?
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Young.
Here.
Vieira. Carlson. Clendenin.
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Michelini, rebuttal.
Some of these comments were completely new to me. And I understand that that's not an excuse, it's simply an explanation. But I think if the council is looking for assurances that this site will be brought into compliance, including the removal of, and I was already told today that the web page and all of that stuff was going to be removed as of this afternoon. The owners are not in the country, and I did speak with them at length, and they instructed the staff to ensure that the trucks and all of the associated issues regarding that would be removed. So I would respectfully request that this matter be continued to September 10th to make sure that all of the electronic notifications, all of the signs, and all of the vehicles are removed from the site to bring it into compliance. Now, the northern part of this property could already, as CI, be used for that, but I'm not trying to push that issue. I would rather have the time to bring the site into compliance, make sure that there are no issues related to it, and respectfully request a continuance to September 10th.
Second.
Okay, we have a, Mr. Shelby, would you please read the rule?
I'm reading from Council Rules 6J3. It states as follows: no request for a continuance by the applicant/petitioner shall be granted at a quasi-judicial public hearing after the applicant petitioner has completed its initial presentation, unless upon determination by City Council that it is necessary for the purposes of procedural due process.
Can I ask,
Mr. Carlson.
so it's connected to this, can I ask, legal, who's here from legal? Susan. If it's continued, they can't change the use that they're asking for, right? They can't change from CI to something else. And then the second question is, on alcohol, we can limit the hours and we can limit outdoor amplified sound. There's no way that when he comes back, he can say, we're not gonna apply for the S1?
Susan Johnson, Velez Legal Department. So I think I'll let Ms. Dock answer your first question, which is whether or not they could change the category. But I think that's possible under the procedures that staff follows with regard to rezoning applications. As far as your second question, if the applicant continues to seek a CI zoning or really any other Euclidean zoning category, then the nature of that type of zoning district is that the uses that are in the use table that Ms. Dock ran through earlier in the hearing would be uses that are available, any of those uses would be available to the applicant, whether it is as a permitted use or they are able to apply for a special use. Any special use that's allowed under that category as well.
If we vote to provide us an exception in this case to allow a continuance, I would just ask that you all talk, because there seems to, out of the whole list of uses, there's one use that the neighborhood is concerned about, and it sounds like they don't intend to do that anyway. And so if there's any way to codify that in the application when they come back, that would be helpful.
So LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. During this time of continuance, if it is granted, since the application is for a request for commercial intensive zoning, if that request were to change, then the applicant would go back to, he would have to renotice the property, and we would likely have to come back and ask for this to be considered as yet another first reading. This will be a continuance of a first reading for this.
What's a similar category that doesn't include parking?
Well, the applicant would have to request like a PD, a planned development, and then specify the use, do that plan development, do a site plan submittal.
Anyway, if we grant that out, then you guys can work that out. But there's only one, it seems there's one narrow concern, he's already stated that the kind of theoretical intention of the property that's not for that category, and so if there's some way that can be handled. So anyway, I seconded the motion.
In addition, if I may, council, this request is to continue to September 10th. The applicant would need to renotice the public again.
Yeah, we agree, it would
with this
require
request.
renoticing.
And a waiver of the 180 day.
Ms. Doc, don't go far. Ms. Doc?
Yes.
So right now, we see in the submissions from one of the persons in public comment that there is a code enforcement record on this property. How does that affect this request?
So what I saw was a CMP record, which is a complaint record. So that means a complaint was filed under investigation. The applicant likely as a result submitted for rezoning, but it has not yet been opened as a violation, as a code enforcement violation case.
Okay, so would it affect the outcome of this one way or another?
It would not. The applicant can still move forward with this rezoning, and likely what would happen is if this rezoning is approved, then that would close that out completely. It would not turn into a violation.
Is there anything the applicant can do to restrict usage with this application, period? So the application that's pending today, even continued or not, is there anything that the applicant can do to restrict the usage?
They could not with the request of a CI Euclidean district. A Euclidean zoning district, we cannot condition.
Okay, and
There's
Susan,
no
would you
site
like
plan
to say
associated.
something for the record on that as well?
Yes.
Susan Johnson, Les Legal Department. I'll just confirm that, as I stated earlier in response to Mr. Carlson's question. Any of the uses that are allowed under the use table are potential uses for the property once it's fully zoned CI. Or the special uses they can apply for as well for administrative approval of those uses as well.
So that's not going to change between now and September?
I think that's a question for me. It could change.
How would it change? If you're
I
questioning.
can't speak for the owners. I'm just saying that there are alternatives that it could change.
Okay, you've been in this business a lot longer than I have. Tell me if it's just a continuation, so if it's not a new application, what could change?
Well, first we have to renotice. So if we renotice, the type of request could change.
Will that be a new application?
No, we could amend this application.
So LaShawn, so what are the possibilities?
They give the example of a PD. Probably they wouldn't do a PD,
We could
but that
amend
was an
it to a
example.
PD. I'm not speaking as a commitment for the owners. I'm just saying there are possibilities of making this more palatable.
Yes, LaShawn, Doc Development Coordination. So if this request were amended to a PD, it would require a DRC meeting. And then from there, they would resubmit plans and come back before council. They could try to make that, I can establish deadlines to keep them on track for the September 10th hearing date, or they may need just till October if they're going to convert it to a PD.
So my question to council would be, in light of the council rule, the rule is just for due process. What is the nexus between what we are hearing tonight and due process? So what due process is being denied the applicant?
Could I explain, what I think the issue is regarding due process? It has to do with not knowing that there were issues related to objections with parking. You have two notices that go out. Okay, you have a filing notice and you have a notice of a hearing. If you don't receive any communication from someone else saying, hey, we've got a problem with this, but the initial issue was for two notices, it was supposed to provide ample time to notify the petitioner that there were issues. If that doesn't happen, and I'm only learning about that tonight.
With all due respect, Mr. Bilicali, even though you are the applicant's representative here tonight, clearly the applicant understood he's got a code enforcement complaint.
That he's got a notice, but
You have
not
a person who is and this is an applicant that is fully vested in this business in the city of Tampa. I would assume that as a subject matter expert, they would be aware of what the code requirements are for the city of Tampa to provide semi-tractor trailer parking in a overlay district. I mean, this, we're not talking about just someone who is a one-off type of person. This is their business. They're a subject matter expert, that they're doing tractor trailer parking. So saying that they're not aware that there's gambling in this establishment is disingenuous.
All I'm saying is, I accept the admonishment. What I'm asking for is an opportunity to resolve the issue.
Okay.
And the only way I can get that is if you allow that to move forward, accept the time restriction of September or October, so that we can come back and figure out how to resolve the one sticking point that seems to be, the major issue here. They don't have current development plans, but if that restriction can be handled through a PD or through some other mechanism, then I'm willing to explore that.
I'd suggest you could unify the property with RM24.
No, sir, I don't think that's gonna happen.
But you're concerned about unification of the property.
Everything to the west is all CI.
Everything to the east is all RM24.
So I think they can work that, Mr. Chair, I think.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean,
think
we're
they can
arguing
work that
about-
out during this time. Susan could cut me off, but I think there are a few different tracks of this. So if we continue as we are, if we can either approve it or not approve it. And if we don't, either way, we have to justify our vote. And then based on that, either the public or they can decide to appeal, and then there's a whole litigation process. Instead, we might be able to avoid the whole appeal process by waiting 2 months, let them try to figure out if they work it out, and then they come back. The only thing we lost is the 20 minutes or so that they presented, or 30 minutes. But we give it a chance that it's gonna work out, and we won't end up in lots of fighting afterwards by either the committee objecting or the owners objecting.
Councilman Viera.
Yes, sir. In looking at this request, I don't know if I'm going to butcher this saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Is that it, Mr. Shelby, or whatever is that it? Did I say it right? I always butcher things. Yeah. So
Well, the land use corollary to that is an ounce of procedure is worth a pound of litigation.
there you go. That's what I'm talking about. So this, this continuance to me doesn't go to the merits of this case. I certainly have my views upon hearing what I've been hearing, and I think we all do here on, I don't want to speak for everybody. I know I certainly do. But I think Councilman Carlson's points are very well taken, which is if we deny this request for a continuance with a claim of due process challenges, that there's going to be some deprivation of some property interest or what have you here, that Tampa City Council will have a role in for this property owner. It could ultimately result in a sequel to any potential denial if council chooses to go that way, which may not be favorable to folks who would want that denial. So yeah, I mean, I'm prepared to support the continuance for those reasons. Again, it doesn't go to the merit of this case whatsoever. It more so just goes to trying to do this thing procedurally right, and everything like that. Because again, if we don't do it right now, and we ultimately end up denying it, there's going to be a sequel and it's going to come back to haunt us. I believe that.
Councilwoman Young.
LaShawn, I have a question. Could you restate, please, what would, with the continuance, so we don't know if it's going to come back as the same thing or planned development? That's what we're allowing the continuance for?
Yes, LaShawn, Doc Development Coordination. So at this point, if the continuance is granted, the applicant could come back with this same request, which would be the request for CI zoning.
Okay.
And maybe in that time, he's spoke with neighbors and has actually conducted what he's going to do on the property, as far as clearing the property. Or the applicant could decide that they are going to amend that request, the rezoning request, and maybe it would be a PD. Or a plan development with a site plan. And because the applicant has to do notice, they must decide before it is time to notice the hearing. So they have to provide notice 30 days prior to the hearing at least. So by mid-August, they would know, they would have to decide long before then the route they're going to take.
I would think that with all of those options being considered, we would probably need to go to October and not September.
And then just one more question. I was looking over the permitted uses for CI. I know you went through a few of them. Is this a heliport?
Yes.
See, it's not just one use.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct. LaShawn Dot Development Coordination, that's correct. It is a heliport.
Okay.
It's allowed in CI and then in the industrial zones and, industrial general and industrial heavy zones.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one last question, and this would be to our attorney and our council attorney both. So there has been insinuation that there is a due process issue with this hearing. Have you, in your professional opinion, have you been able to identify any due process concerns? I'm asking both of you. You can pick which one goes first, arm wrestle if you like.
I mean, I think Susan Johnson, Velez Legal Department, Mr. Michelini has discussed, his difficulty with reviewing the documents that were submitted to council that he's had a limited time to review and in order to be able to respond to at this time.
Okay. I don't need to hear from you. That's enough for me. Thank you. Okay. So Mr. Michelini, would you prefer an October date?
I think that's a safer date.
And what date would that be, LaShawn?
Yes, LaShawn Dot Development Coordination, that date would be October 8th, 2026.
Okay, the maker of the motion, please make a new motion.
I'd like to make a motion to continue item REZ 26-36 to October 8th, 5:01 PM.
Second.
315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida 33602.
It would require renotice as well,
And requiring renotice.
and waiving the 180 days.
And waiving the 180 days.
Thank you. We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco. I have a second from Councilman Vieira. Councilman Vieira.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I wanted to just, for the folks who came here this evening, just to say again, this isn't something we take lightly because you all waited a while. But there are, again, procedural issues where if we turn this thing a certain way, it could potentially go the other way if we don't adhere to proper procedure. And I know we have at least one fine attorney, Mr. Alex Fiol, in the audience, and procedure is important. So again, that's my rationale. Thank you.
Yeah, and for the folks in the audience on this as well, I mean, I think you probably heard my voice on this. I'm going to end up supporting this continuance based on the information that only based on the information that I got from our city attorney to ensure that our case is strong and can be upheld. So it means if they present the same case in October, please come back and we can talk about this again. And but hopefully they'll come back with a better case. And unfortunately, at this point, we won't be taking any further public comment on this. But I don't know. Do I need to take I don't know.
No, sir.
No, I didn't think so. Okay, just making sure, checking myself. Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. We have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Do you have to announce that, Madam Clerk? No, did you announce the vote?
Okay, motion carried unanimously with her tech being absent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for turning out. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to well, let's give them a second to finish this and then we'll. Okay, moving on to item number 4.
Good evening, council. For the record, Christopher DeMonch, Development Coordination. Agenda item number 4 is REZ 2646. This is a request to rezone 3705 North Darwin Avenue from RS50 Residential Single Family 50 to Planned Development for Residential Single Family Detached Uses. I'll turn it over now to Planning Commission staff.
Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. This site is within the Central Tampa Planning District, the Tampa Heights Urban Village, the Tampa Heights Neighborhood, and Evacuation Zone D. The subject site is located here, outlined in purple. It is predominantly single-family detached to the north and east of the subject site. Directly to the west is Calvin Taylor Park, and to the south is Woodlawn Cemetery. North Florida Avenue, a transit emphasis corridor, is 6 blocks to the east of the site. This is the adopted future land use map of the subject site, again outlined in purple. The residential 10 designation is to the north, east, and south of the subject site. All of this green is the recreational and open space, and that is the park and the cemetery. Planning Commission staff reviewed the existing development patterns along North Darwin Avenue within the residential 10 designation. Along the segment between West Indiana Avenue and West Virginia Avenue, excluding the subject site, 15 parcels reflect an existing density of approximately 5.79 dwelling units per acre, and the proposed planned development would allow 2 dwelling units on the subject site, resulting in a density of approximately 6.45 dwelling units per acre. The density is comparable to the existing development pattern. It is consistent with the density anticipated under the residential 10 designation. Additionally, the proposed 49-foot wide lots are comparable to the lot widths along the block, and the proposed unit heights of 35 feet are consistent with the RS50 zoning district, and the request is compatible with the surrounding development pattern. The subject site is located within the Tampa Heights urban village, where the comprehensive plan encourages enhanced urban design that promotes a pedestrian-friendly development pattern and residential density supportive of transit use. As such, the request proposes a sidewalk along North Darwin Avenue, where sidewalks are currently absent. Although the applicant proposes vehicular access from North Darwin Avenue, access from the alley would be more consistent with the comprehensive plan guidance, which encourages the use of alleys to preserve the established character of Tampa's traditional neighborhoods. The request supports many policies related to housing the city's population within the comprehensive plan and ensures an adequate supply of housing is available to meet the needs of Tampa's present and future populations. Additionally, the comprehensive plan directs the greatest share of growth to urban villages. The proposed plan development would allow for development that is comparable and compatible with the character of the surrounding uses and is consistent with the development pattern anticipated under the residential 10 future land use designation. That concludes my presentation.
Does council have any questions? Hearing none. Next. Didn't want you to say that. Not hot that way.
For the record, Christopher DeMonch, Development Coordination. We'll start with having a look at the aerial of the subject site as outlined in red. The subject property is located on the east side of North Darwin Avenue. The subject property and the subject block face is located south of West Virginia Avenue and north of West Indiana Avenue. Surrounding zoning to the north, south, east, and west is all RS50. The surrounding uses include single-family detached units to the north, to the east, and to the south. And then west of the subject property is the Ken Suarez Sports Complex. We do have a site plan from the applicant. The applicant proposes the construction of 2 single-family detached dwellings, each on lots 49 feet in width and 141 feet in depth. Each dwelling unit is proposed with 2-car garage, and the front doors for the each dwelling unit is oriented to North Darwin Avenue. The max height proposed would be 35 feet. We have aerial for parcel A. Zoom in. This is the parcel on the north side of the subject property. And then we have parcel B. There are no waivers associated with this application. We do have some site photos to show. We do have a photo of the subject lot. This is from North Darwin looking east, immediately north of the subject site, south of the subject site, east of the subject site. Got 2 photos for east. And then, of course, looking west at the sports complex across the street from the subject site. This would be looking north on North Darwin and looking south on North Darwin. Development Review and Compliance staff, we've reviewed this application. We do find the request consistent with the City of Tampa land development regulations. And should it be the pleasure of City Council to approve this application, further modifications, the site plan would need to be completed between first and second reading of the ordinance as stated on the revision sheet. And I'm available for any questions.
Council have any questions? Hearing none. Applicant?
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Council. Fred Henry, Domain Homes, 3104 North Armenia Avenue, Suite 2, Tampa, Florida, 33607. I've been sworn and appreciate staff's help with the rezone, and I'm here for any questions you may have. And I appreciate your time and consideration. And if you'd like, yeah, I'm available for any questions. And also, I know there was a question mentioned earlier about the alley. We deferred to Natural Resources because of the grand live oak on the back of that property, to defer to use the front of the property for loading. And that's pictured there, and it's a 10-foot alley. We were advised to stay clear of that tree, and so we're just doing the best we can to protect that.
Does council have any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak to this item? Can I get a motion? You wish to speak to this item? Okay. I think so. Yes, ma'am. Start with your name, please.
Hi, my name is Nicole Federica. I'm again coming to you tonight from the Tampa Heights Community Association, specifically our Land Use Committee. We discussed this a couple times. Our first discussion was around a conditional approval from our board, and then we sort of changed position to we wanted to oppose. The reason being that we as a community want to encourage and really promote the use of alleys as much as possible. So we would really prefer the design to look at a way to use that alley. I understand the issue with the tree, and of course I support keeping as much tree canopy as possible as well. So again, as an individual, I would encourage Domain to reach out to the association and discuss design opportunities where I just saw an example the other day actually in South Tampa of a house with an attached garage, front accessed, with a porte-cochere and a recessed garage. So it's not front-loaded. But I digress. Back to the association's position is, we want to encourage street parking. When we have these curb cuts for driveways for front-loaded garages, we take away from street parking. At a ballpark, that becomes an issue when, I don't know how active the park is, but, if you've got Little League or whatnot using the park, we want to encourage that street parking. So I would just encourage them to consider reaching out to the association and maybe consider some different design opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else in the public wish to speak to this item? Can I get a motion?
So close.
Motion to close for Councilman Vera.
You need me to
You want a rebuttal?
Yeah, just briefly, and I appreciate the association's input, and at first I heard about the question about the alley use. I did bring a picture of the alley I took today, and of course you see the grand live oak there. We were asked not to disturb. I'm aware that the 10-foot alley is being used some. That's a picture looking towards the south. This is looking towards the north. It really is impassable the way it is. And like I said, we use alleys all the time, but in this instance, we just defer to the professionals to, protect that grand live oak, and we're just trying to do the best thing we can to do that. And I'll be happy to speak to anyone at the association, that wants to speak about this. And by the way, to add to that, and I understand the parking concerns, these houses are set back. The north is set back, and excuse me for looking close at this, over 20 feet on that driveway up to the north, and the south is 2010. It each allows for 4 cars to be parked without it getting into a sidewalk, which I try hard to do because I do the site plan. So I want to keep the cars off the sidewalks as well. So But I appreciate your time and consideration.
Okay, any further questions from the applicant? Councilwoman John?
Can you put the first picture up where that has the tree? With the alley, the one that has the tree?
The first one looking south. And that's a portion of the alley looking from the property south. This is from looking at the property north. Once again, it's only a 10-foot alley, so 2 cars couldn't pass on it. And with the north side not being used, that's gonna be an issue at some point with 2 cars. Someone's gotta choose whether they're going, who's gonna win. Because the alleys aren't marked one way and those kinds of things that I'm sure y'all have talked about before. But like I said, we defer to natural resources on not trying to put any more things around that tree. So we decided to front load it for that reason, and staff found it consistent.
So for staff, so would that be considered, this would be considered an alley that you can't use?
You're welcome to keep that if you want.
Yeah, Jonathan Scott, Mobility. That, that alley with the tree and stuff, it's tricky, you know, it's, to say that it's not used, it's, probably not accurate. I mean, it looks like people are using it, and it's an open alley, so it's really just kind of protecting the tree and to make them to do something to that tree, I don't know if it's really worth it, in this case, you know. But it is, looks like it is used, in my opinion.
And I just asked, I mean, we've talked about alleys a lot. I would really love for us to figure out this alley situation. And I know, I'm sure it will be coming at some point, because this has come up so many times. And I mean, it's obvious that we need to, figure out, like, can they be used, can they not? Like, I mean, it's been coming up quite a lot in conversations. So I look forward to the day where we can have said yes, no, whatever the case may be, because it looks like you can drive through it to me. So.
Councilman Carlson, then Councilman Bureau.
Yeah, before you leave, he was talking about if you had the garages or the exits on the alleyway, it could endanger the tree. And so, would you or Natural Resources agree with that making the homes accessible from the back would endanger the tree in some way, or crowd the tree out, or?
Joe?
Joseph Cermak, Forester Examiner. Yeah, given the spacing.
I got some more pictures there too, if you need them. I know that's a good shot of the alley there. How are you doing, by the way? Good to see you. That's kind of a wide shot. Ricky gave it a C7 with the building that was next to it. We're just trying to, Mary, she wants us to stay clear of that thing if we could.
Right. So it'd really be a question of, in developing the alley, could they possibly use the materials that would be safe? They would still be encroaching closer than we'd like to see. With any kind of permeable on grade, if that was even an available option. Also would bring the fact that they would be putting driveways up the 2 sides. In the rear of the lot, they would now need driveways off either side. While they could remain clear of the tree, they would involve having to do some root pruning and other impacts to the tree.
Is that a live oak?
It is. It's grand live oak, 46 inches, I believe.
Right, and the C7 rating that one was given, I think it was.
Yeah, that's right here. So you're familiar with Ricky's reports. Number 22, 46 inch. This was done last year. It's right. And
this one up there.
Right up here is Southern Live Oak, and you'll see it right there.
Okay, can we zoom it in on
It's on the right-hand side, guys.
Yep.
Upper top.
I was actually looking at the grand tree table on
Oh,
there,
good, yeah,
which
well,
is
good.
that one on the left, yes.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's specifically addressing that tree as a C7. Right, that is preservation quality. Yeah, I would say that in this case, asking to use parking in the front rather than having to improve the alley would be to the benefit of that tree.
Okay,
Could
thank you.
it be strictly said that it would be detrimental? Can't be 100%.
Thank you very much. Is that sufficient? Okay. Councilman Vera?
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, so
I'll
is that,
motion to close.
yeah, I'm sorry. Is that it? We're good? Okay. Can I get a motion to close from
if I
Councilman
may.
Vera, second from?
Second.
Second from Councilman Carlson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Councilman Vera.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I read an ordinance presented for first reading consideration. Ordinance rezoning property in general vicinity, 3705 North Darwin Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida. More particularly described in Section 1 from zoning district classification, RS 50 residential single family to PD plan development residential single family detached, providing an effective date.
I have a motion from Councilman Vera, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank
Okay,
you.
motion carried unanimously with Hertech being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on July 16th, 2026 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Okay, very good. These next ones, we're gonna fly through, right? This is gonna be record time on item 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's go. 5.
Bria Dixon Development Coordination, agenda item number 5 for RAZ 2651, request to rezone 9710 and 9720 North Armenia Avenue from RO residential office to C in commercial neighborhood, turning it over to Planning Commission.
Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. The subject site is located within the University Planning District, the historic Forest Hills, and is not within an evacuation zone. This is the subject site is outlined here in purple. This blue line is the jurisdictional line between the city of Tampa and the unincorporated Hillsborough County. To the north of the site are also commercial uses that continue towards Linebaugh Avenue. To the east is single-family detached, and to the west and south are a mix of single-family and multifamily uses. This is the adopted future land use map. The subject site is here outlined in purple. It's represented with the residential 20 designation, which does extend going this way, then jumps to R10, and then to CMU 35 along Linebaugh, closer to North Armenia Avenue. And the residential 20 is also to the south. Residential 10 is to the east. This yellow color is the unincorporated Hillsborough County Residential 4 designation. The proposed CN district can be considered with the R20 designation given the site that is already zoned R01. The site does not have to meet locational criteria outlined in the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan promotes pedestrian safety and encourages commercial development that enhances the city's character and ambiance. In doing so, the plan requires new commercial development to connect building entrances to public rights-of-way and encourages sidewalks in areas where it is practical and feasible. To ensure consistency with policy direction, future development should promote uses in context with the community and enhance the pedestrian experience by orienting proposed buildings to the street and placing parking in the rear. Additionally, the comprehensive plan requires any commercial uses to be buffered from any residential development, and future development of the site should be sensitive to the residential uses to the west of the site. The request supports many policies related to the growing need for employment opportunities within the city of Tampa and promotes a development pattern consistent with Tampa's character and encouraged by the compact city form strategy. Overall, the request is comparable and compatible with the surrounding area and is consistent with the development pattern. And that concludes my presentation if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does council have any questions? Hearing none. Next.
Bria Dixon Development Coordination. We'll start with an area view of the subject parcel. The subject parcel is here, outlined in red. You can see that it has, oh, upside down, sorry. You can see that it has frontages here on Armenia Avenue. This is Barclay right here, as well as Tiffany Oaks. I also have photos, but before we're gonna have the survey. Sorry, they're all upside down. This is a survey of the parcel, outlined here in red. It is a fairly large parcel. It's almost approximately 1 acre at 0.94 acres. It meets the minimum lot requirements for the CN commercial neighborhood zoning. The CN zoning is compatible with residential R20 future land use designation, therefore it's also consistent with the surrounding area. I also have photos. This is the subject parcels. Here it is again. This is one of the 2 buildings. This is north, east, second property to the east, one of the properties to the south, and this is one west view, as well as multifamily view. And development coordination and compliance staff, again, find this to be consistent with City of Tampa land development regulations. I'm available for any questions.
Council have any questions? Hearing none. Applicant.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, City Council members. My name is Tu Mai. Office address is 14031 North Del Mabry Highway, Tampa, Florida 33618. I'm here representing the applicant, Frank Chalura, who's here with me tonight, along with his family. Subject site is located at the northwest corner of North Armenia Avenue and West Barclay Road. Total land is 0.94 acres. Current zoning is RO1 with future land use Res 20. Existing water and wastewater service is provided by the city. The applicant is requesting to rezone from RO1 to CN to allow for the development of the property with commercial neighborhood uses. There are 2 one-story buildings on the subject site that serve as a business professional office use. An ingress and egress on Tiffany Oaks Lane and West Barclay serve as a direct access to the project site. This request is simply to add neighborhood serving commercial uses such as a sandwich shop for the subject site for the residents of the historic Forest Hills neighborhood. The proposed CN zoning is compatible with the neighborhood. It meets land use objective 9.3, policy 9.3.1, objective 15.2, policy 15.2.1 for the overall development and commercial areas of the city's comprehensive plan. We received no objections from the neighbors. Development review and compliance staff finds this rezoning consistent with the City of Tampa code and ordinances. Planning Commission staff finds this request consistent with the city comprehensive plan. Thank you to the staff for their staff report and findings, and we respectfully request the council's approval.
Thank you very much. Does council have any questions of the applicant? Hearing none. Is there anybody in the public who wishes to speak to this item? Can I get a motion to close? We have a motion to close to Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilwoman Young.
All right, file number REZ-26-551, ordinance being presented for first reading consideration, and ordinance rezoning property in general vicinity of 9710 and 9720 North Armenia Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RO1 residential office to CN commercial neighborhood, providing an effective date.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilwoman Young. I have a second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, motion carried unanimously with Hertech being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on July 16th, 2026 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Thank you so much. Item number 6.
Bria
Zip it
Dixon,
along.
Development Coordination. Agenda item number 6 is REZ 2653, request to rezone 3817, 3819 Temple Street from RM16 residential multiple family. and CG Commercial General to RM 18 Residential Multiple Family 18. I will now turn it over to Planning Commission.
Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. The sites within the Central Tampa Planning District, the Grant Park neighborhood, the East Tampa Urban Village, and Evacuation Zone E. This is an aerial of the subject site, which is outlined in purple, and again, that blue line is the jurisdictional boundary between unincorporated Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa. The surrounding area is a mix of residential, commercial, public, and industrial uses. The commercial, public, and residential uses are concentrated along the transit emphasis corridor of North 50th Street and also East Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. The south and east are primarily single-family and two-family. The subject site is right here. It's located in the residential 20 designation, which is to the north, east, and south of the subject site. To the west, this red color is the community commercial 35 district, and the pink on the city of Tampa side is the community mixed use 35. On the county side is community mixed use 12. Planning Commission staff reviewed the existing development pattern along Temple Street between East Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and East 32nd Avenue. Excluding the subject site and vacant parcels, the area reflects an existing density of approximately 10.94 dwelling units per acre. The proposed PD would allow up to 4 dwelling units, resulting in a potential density of approximately 16.66 dwelling units per acre. While it exceeds the existing density along this portion of Temple Street, it remains consistent with the density anticipated under the residential 20 designation and policies encouraging attached and multifamily housing types at slightly higher densities in single-family areas. Overall, the request would provide for development that is comparable and compatible with the surrounding residential development pattern. The request supports many policies related to housing the city's population within the comprehensive plan and ensures an adequate supply of housing is available to meet the needs of Tampa's present and future populations. The comprehensive plan directs the greatest share of growth towards urban villages. Additionally, the site is located approximately 125 feet south of East Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and 1 block east of North 50th Street, both designated transit emphasis corridors, which comprehensive plan identifies as appropriate locations for redevelopment and increased density and intensity to support alternative modes of transportation. Land use policy 9.2.6 encourages single-family attached and multifamily development to orient front entrances toward neighborhood sidewalks and streets. Since the applicant is proposing a Euclidean zoning district, applicable urban village and site design policies should be addressed at the time of permitting. The RM 18 zoning district will provide for a development that is comparable and compatible with the surrounding area, and the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions.
Council have any questions? Hearing none. Next.
Bria Dixon, Development Coordination. Here is an aerial view. As you can see, the subject parcel is outlined here in red, and it only has frontage here on Temple Street. North is East Dr. Martin Luther King, as well as 50th to the west. We'll start single-family detached and multiple-family residential developments such as duplexes are throughout the area, and presently both of the subject parcels are vacant and undeveloped. Here we also have a survey where the parcels are outlined here in bold, and Temple Street is fronting on this side here. Photos of the subject site and surrounding area are subject property. This is that second parcel. This is north. There is a place of assembly. East behind first parcel. East behind the second parcel. Residents to the south. Commercial to the west. The subject size is approximately 0.24 acres and meets the minimum lot requirements required for residential multiple family RM18 zoning. The proposed RM18 zoning is compatible with the residential R20 future land use and is consistent with the surrounding development pattern. Development coordination and compliance staff reviewed the application and find the request to be consistent with the City of Tampa land development regulations. I'm available for questions.
Any questions? Hearing none. Applicant.
Good evening, City Council. James Lascara representing the request for RZ 2653, located at 3817 and 3819 Temple Street. We're requesting Euclidean rezoning to RM18. We're encouraged to hear that the findings of staff were consistent across the board. We have no waivers, as this is Euclidean rezoning. Community support has been strong with 10 letters of support and no opposition. I'm available for any questions, should there be any.
Council have any questions? Hearing none. Is there anybody in the public who wishes to speak to this item? Hearing none. Can I get a motion to close? So moved. A motion to close for Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Councilman Maniscalco.
All right, I'll take a stab at it, see where it goes.
Hey, there'll be no humor in Tampa City Council today.
I'm sorry, this is a sad place. I have an ordinance being presented for first reading consideration, ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 3817 and 3819 Temple Street in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in section 1, from zoning district classification RM16 residential multifamily and CG commercial general to RM18 residential multifamily, providing an effective date.
I have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, a second from Councilman Vieira. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, motion carried unanimously with Kurtek being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on July 16th, 2026 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Okay, we got two more lightning speed. I expect to be out of here at 7:35. Go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, for the record, Christopher DeMonch, Development Coordination. Agenda item number 7 is REZ 2586. This is a request to rezone 3101 North Nebraska Avenue from RS50 Residential Single Family 50 and CG Commercial General to Planned Development for storefront residential and to allow for all CG Commercial General uses. I'll turn it over now to Planning Commission staff.
Now, I know she can read fast.
Didn't have any caffeine today, so I don't know. Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. This site is within the Central Tampa Planning District, the East Tampa Urban Village, the VM Eborn Neighborhood, and Evacuation Zone E. The subject site is located here, outlined in purple. There is a mix of single family and two family to the north, east, and south of the subject site. They're mostly moving east. And then along North Nebraska Avenue are a concentration of commercial uses with some public, quasi-public uses. And further to the west here is Interstate 275. This is the adopted future land use map of the subject site, which is outlined here in purple. It does have a split future land use designation on the site between the residential 20, which is also to the north, east, and south of the subject site, and the community mixed use 35 designation, which is to the northwest and south of the subject site. The site is within the East Tampa Urban Village, where the comprehensive plan encourages enhanced design that promotes a pedestrian-friendly pattern, and the site is along North Nebraska Avenue, a transit emphasis corridor recognized by the comprehensive plan as suitable for redevelopment and intensification. Given the site is within two future land use designations and within an urban village, the site is eligible to utilize land use policy 5.1.6 to proportionally weigh the density and intensity across the entire site, and the applicant is choosing to use this policy. The proposed request aligns with the density anticipated under the R20 and CMU 35 designations and supports policy direction that allows multifamily housing at slightly higher density, overall compatible with the surrounding development pattern. As described in Land Use Policy 6.1.13, the portion of the parcel designated CMU 35 is considered to be within a mixed-use corridor, which the comprehensive plan identifies as appropriate locations for redevelopment and increased density and intensity to support alternative modes of transportation. The proposed plan development supports many of these principles by placing parking behind the building, orienting primary residential and commercial entrances towards the street, providing bicycle storage, and 6-foot sidewalks around the parcel. The request supports many policies related to housing the city's population within the comprehensive plan and ensures an adequate supply of housing is available to meet the needs of Tampa's present and future populations. Additionally, the comprehensive plan directs the greatest share of growth towards our urban villages. Overall, the proposed PD is comparable and compatible with the existing development pattern and is consistent with the comprehensive plan. That concludes my presentation.
Yay, good job. Okay.
For the record, again, for the record, Christopher Demonge, Development Coordination. We'll start with an aerial of the subject site. Subject property is outlined in red. It is located on the north side of East 23rd Avenue and east of North Nebraska. It's actually located on that northeast corner of that intersection between those two streets. Surrounding uses, we do have CG zoning and RS50 zoning to the north. So we have a convenience store, a gas station on the CG zone property, and single-family detached dwellings on the RS50 portions to the north. East of the subject site, we have single-family detached dwellings zoned RS50. And south of the subject site, we have single-family detached dwellings with RS50 zoning as well as CG zoning. And west of the subject site, we do have commercial uses as well as vacant parcel zoned CG. Now, I do want to, before I jump into this site plan, I want to preface what I'm going to say by noting that this application was continued at the April 9th hearing, and during that continuance period, the applicant met with the neighborhood association, talked about the site, heard their concerns, and made some adjustments. So tonight, I'm going to show you the site plan and elevations of record. The applicant will show you the changes, and of course, if you approve those items tonight, they would be made between first and second reading. The revision sheet you have reflects the changes that we've reviewed from the applicant. We don't have any issues with them, and so they are reflected in the revision sheet and staff report packet that you do have. So with that said, having a look here at the subject property, the building is outlined in the dotted line. The site is broken up between R20 future land use designation on the east side of the property and CMU 35 on the west. On the ground floor, we have 1,850 square feet of retail space. There are entrances to this retail space off North Nebraska as well as East 23rd Avenue. There's also 41 parking spaces, ground level parking spaces to service this development, as well as a two-way ingress-egress located on that north side of East 23rd Avenue. Access to the residential units would be by way of the interior parking area as well as a door located on North Nebraska Avenue. The proposed development is 3 stories in height. And you'll see, as I'm going to show, as the applicant will show you, that there has been a minor change here to the elevation, particularly on the south elevation. You're only going to see 1 level above the covered parking area instead of 2 levels above the parking area. It'll also be reflected here on the north elevation, where you will only see 1 level above the parking. That's the major change that they made and we've reviewed. Additionally, we have the west elevation, this is the view from North Nebraska Avenue, and the east elevation from those RS50 zone properties. And of course, the applicant does have 1 waiver. It's the section 27-284. This is a request to amend the required 15-foot use landscape buffer and 6-foot tall masonry wall to provide for a 15-foot use landscape buffer and a 6-foot tall PVC fence along the east property line adjacent to the RS50 zoning and the single-family detached dwelling use. We do have photos. This is a photo of the subject site as of today. Oops. That's not the one I wanted to show you. Subject property. North of the subject site, we do have an alleyway that bisects the 2 properties there. We have the gas station and convenience store. Additionally, north of the subject property, we have single-family detached dwellings. South of the subject site, this would be across East 23rd. Immediately east of the subject site, looking across North Nebraska Avenue. One additional look, that would be the vacant parcel. And then we have looking down East 23rd and looking west down East 23rd. Development Coordination Compliance staff has reviewed this application. We do find the request consistent with the City of Tampa land development regulations, and should it be the pleasure of City Council to approve this application, modifications to the site plan as shown on the submitted revision sheet must be completed between first and second reading, and I'm available for any questions.
Does council have any questions? Hearing none. Applicant. I suspect this will be easier than the last one.
Should I be speedy?
Yes, please. We've been here all day.
We really appreciate the continuance that was granted in April. You might have seen a few comments that were in your packet. They all were before we had a meeting with the neighborhood association. And we spent a very lively time speaking with them and discussing issues that they wanted to have resolved. I believe that we have resolved them. We notched the building out to save these trees on the north side. We limited this side of the development to one story over the parking. So we eliminated one entire floor, and we reduced the number of units. So we addressed the issue regarding density that they wanted addressed. This is a neighborhood serving commercial retail space. We've put in the covered parking, the covered bicycle. We meet the landscaping requirements. We increased the buffers on this side, and we thought in our discussion that the PVC fence on this side was more appropriate than a masonry wall. We also discussed the issues with TPD, and apparently this is not part of this petition, but I just want to bring it to your attention. There are serious crime-related issues regarding this alley and the property at the corner, the convenience store. So TPD is doing their thing, and I don't want to go into what they're doing. But we also agreed that at our expense that we would petition to vacate the alley, and that will be coming to you later on. So we are working very closely with the neighborhood association. This, although is related to the one that you're going to hear right after this zoning petition, but I believe that we have addressed the issues that we were asked to address. They asked for some design amenities, which we will go over when it comes through the design review, including adding balconies and some fenestration that they wanted. So this side next to Nebraska Avenue is 3 stories. This side over here is 1 story over the garage. It is on a transit corridor. We value the input that we received, and we've had a couple of meetings with the neighborhood group, and I believe the representatives are here to talk about that. The consistency issue was resolved with both the Planning Commission and the city staff. I'll be happy to answer any questions. We do have a split land use designation, so we had to blend and reduce the density on the east side.
Councilwoman Young.
Well, one, I'm glad, that you all got to meet with the neighborhood association and making those changes. Just me, I'm glad to hear that you may be adding some additional design elements to it, because, just looking at the pictures of the surrounding area and in Ybor and also kind of similar in Tampa Heights, you have the pitch roofs and the columns and the porches, and so I'm happy to see some development happening on Nebraska, because I know we're wanting to revitalize that area and bring some some housing, but I would love to just see maybe just be a little bit more prettier. I know the west side is kind of we're kind of blank. So we'll be seeing a lot of just kind of space. So I don't know if it's adding more windows or something, but something just to make it a little, I don't know if the only word I could think of is prettier. But I think having something on Nebraska, I think is good, and it's adding more housing and also having that retail space.
We're removing an older apartment building that's there. But one of the things that I think probably in the process, we're required to put elevations in that show something, but it's not necessarily the final product.
Okay.
And as we go through the process, it does get more attractive. There's architectural fenestration as well as the balconies and the windows, and those things will come back, and we will stay in touch with the neighborhood group to address, that. And they've been, we've had some, as I said, exciting discussions, but at the end of the day, I think it was all useful and very productive, and I believe they'll say the same thing.
Thank you.
So we appreciate it.
Anything else? Okay, does anybody in the public here wish to speak to this item? Hearing none, can I get a motion to close? Oh, did you want to speak? Okay, go ahead.
That's our neighborhood group.
Okay, come on up. Start with your name and then you have 3 minutes.
Hello, sir.
Hello, good evening.
My name is Michael Bailey.
Well, you have to get up here to the podium first. The microphone is embedded in the podium, so straight with your name.
Michael Bailey.
Thank you.
I live at 910 East 23rd. And the property you're speaking of right now is about 100 yards to the west of me. And me and my wife play a little game of, was that a backfire or a gunshot from the gas station next door? It's been roped off twice within the past 6 weeks because of drugs, TPD, trying to collect everybody up that sells drugs there. And, let me excuse the attire, I wasn't expecting this. My biggest concern is between the parcel, I think it's called 919, where they have the 5 lots, is the amount of housing they're looking to put there. And then you double that down with this property, you triple the amount of activity of people exiting to get onto Nebraska Avenue. It's hard enough as it is right now. There's no bike lane. So when I come up, I have to look to my right to make sure I can pull out, make sure I'm not going to get hit. Then I have to look to the left to make sure no one's coming this direction. And then I have to look again because there's no bike lane. Everybody, if there's little motor scooters, are using the sidewalk to travel. So I'm like this, for safety reason, making sure I don't hit a pedestrian. That makes it troublesome for me to get out onto Nebraska Avenue, living 100 yards away from this point. I've actually had, maybe 2 years ago, a young Hispanic kid hit the side of my vehicle, and I guess maybe there was some reason, but he just got it on his bike, gave me a dirty look, and took off. We could make guesses as to what that's about. But I know from what I see, what I've saw in the development, the units are going to be built north-south. Now, if everything was built east-west, and the tree that's going to come down anyway, if that could be allowed to come down and have everyone exit directly onto Nebraska Avenue versus a residential street, that would be grand. Otherwise, I see I have 17 seconds left. There's the alley there. And that alley is used, I don't know why. People can walk up and down 24th and 23rd, but they use that alley. I've had objects thrown over the fence into my yard.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you. Next speaker. Okay, start with your name.
Good evening, Kim Headland. I reside at 1023 East 17th Avenue, just a few blocks from this property. I do want to say that as a longtime resident of VM Ybor, I strongly support continued investment along that corridor for a few reasons. We need housing. The mixed-use development, it can contribute to the long-term vitality, economic development of that corridor, and quite honestly, the stability. We need the stability. I think you've heard why we need a little bit of stability. Projects of this scale should be thoughtfully designed to respect adjacent neighborhoods, particularly at transitions to lower density residential areas. Naya, I think you touched on the importance of that Nebraska Avenue elevation, but also the 23rd Avenue elevation. I do really want to thank the applicant. They met with us the VM Ybor Neighborhood Association last month, just in May, they listened and they revised the plan considerably in response. Most significantly was the reduction of units on the R20 parcel to 5 and the reduction of height. That makes that transition to the single-family nature of the rest of 23rd Avenue more successful. I do want to say that the design still presents a large, long, primarily blank wall with a dumpster enclosure at the pedestrian level along 23rd Avenue, along with the blank facades on Nebraska. We continue to ask that the applicant consider adding articulation, fenestration, landscaping along that stretch, along both stretches actually, but also we understand that facade design will be more fully realized as the applicant moves forward through permitting, and they'll have to comply with the East Tampa overlay. So we're hopeful that some of those items will be addressed as the design is evolving. But one other important thing to note is that the parking is basically 1 space per residential unit and 8 spaces for the retail, but it has no visitor parking. I think you could see in some of the photos, there's some concern about what that means for 23rd Avenue going forward when you have the dumpster enclosure, the ingress egress, all kind of coming off that first few hundred feet of 23rd Avenue. It's a lot, and then add visitor parking to that. We just hope that maybe this could be conditionally approved with some stipulation about visitor parking and how maybe those 8 retail spaces work with visitor parking on site so it doesn't further choke 23rd Avenue. With that, thank you for working with us on this and listening to the community, and just really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Anybody else in the public wish to speak to this item? Mr. McElhaney.
We appreciate all of it. You know, we've gotten to a better product and one that satisfies the neighborhood. And as Kim just said, we took an entire floor off of the east side to provide that better transition between this project and the single family further to the east. We explored an access onto Nebraska in several different reiterations. And as Jonathan can tell you, that was not even beginning to be successful. And the neighbor that spoke about, you know, trying to get that done, we did. It went nowhere. But anyway, we have a better product. We've been found to be consistent. We have the support of the neighbors, and would appreciate your consideration and favorably pass this.
Mr. McElhaney, would you be willing between first and second reading to have more complete sort of binding elevations on the 2 faces that the people are concerned about, so we can have a better look at what this architectural features would look like?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
And we are committing to making the changes that have been requested by staff between first and second reading.
And can you maybe help me with what that would look like?
The revision sheet.
Absolutely. Christopher DeMonch, Development Coordination. I would ask the council maybe specify the specific facades, the directional, whether
Well,
it's.
You know, it's difficult because we're not going to design it from the dais, but I think that,
Yeah, like the
I think that
west.
we would like some more detail on those 2 elevations with, so elevations with detail to show that you're breaking up those facades so that they're aesthetically blend with the neighborhood and that you're building a quality product. As we, you know, as we're trying to break that up.
We would suggest maybe the west and south facades.
The
west
23rd
side.
Street and the Nebraska side.
So Nebraska
yeah.
and then the east 23rd side. We can
Is
work
that-
with the applicant between first and second readings and get those elevations updated.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. McElhaney, for consenting to do that. Okay, anything else? Hearing none, can I get a motion to close? Motion to close, Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, the ayes have it. Councilman Miranda, could you please read this with the revision sheets and the agreement between first and second reading?
Ordinance presented for first reading consideration, ordinance rezoning property in the vicinity of 3101 North Nebraska Avenue, the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in section 1 from zoning districts classification RS 50, residential single family, and CG, commercial general, PD, plan development, storefront, residential, commercial, and all CG uses, providing an effective date, along with the revision sheet and
The requested elevation changes between
request
first and
elevation
second.
as stated by the chairman and approved, notified by the petitioner. that he
The
would
west and
do
south
that.
sides.
West and south sides. Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Miranda. I have a second from Councilman Maniscalco. Anything else before I take this vote? Okay, good. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank
Next.
you, council.
Thank
Okay,
you.
motion carried unanimously with her tech being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on July 16th, 2026 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Okay, we missed that deadline. Let's shoot for another one. Go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, for the record, Christopher DeMonch, Development Coordination. Agenda item number 8 is REZ 25119. This is a request to rezone 915 East 23rd Avenue from RS 50 Residential Single Family 50 to Planned Development for Residential Single Family Attached Uses. I'll turn it over now to Planning Commission staff.
Did you have coffee?
No. Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. This site is within the Central Tampa Planning District, the East Tampa Urban Village, the VM Osborne Neighborhood, and Evacuation Zone E. This is the surrounding area of the subject site. It's outlined in purple. The site we just heard was here. The surrounding area is predominantly residential with single-family detached and some two-family, and that commercial activity is along North Nebraska Avenue. This is the adopted future land use map of the subject site, which is outlined in purple. It is surrounded by the residential 20 designation. To the east of the site is the residential 10, and to the west along North Nebraska is the community mixed use 35 designation. Planning Commission staff reviewed the existing development pattern along East 23rd Avenue within the residential 20 designation. Along this segment between North Nebraska Avenue and North 10th Street, excluding the subject site and vacant parcels, 11 samples had an existing density of approximately 9.75 dwelling units per acre. The proposed PD would allow 10 dwelling units, resulting in a density of approximately 15.6 dwelling units per acre, consistent with the residential 20 designation. While it is nearly double the existing density along this portion of East 23rd Avenue, it aligns with the density anticipated under the R20 and supports policy direction that allows single-family attached housing at slightly higher densities in single-family areas. And overall, the request is comparable and compatible with the surrounding residential development, and the proposed rezoning will provide infill development and better utilization of the land in an area planned for 20 dwelling units per acre. The subject site is within the East Tampa Urban Village, where the comprehensive plan encourages enhanced design that promotes a pedestrian-friendly development pattern with densities that encourage transit use. The comprehensive plan encourages single-family attached development to be designed with front door oriented towards a neighborhood sidewalk and street. The proposed design orients the units of 6 through 10 towards East 23rd Avenue with a pedestrian connection, and units 1 through 5 face an internal drive aisle with a sidewalk along the drive aisle and a crosswalk connecting them to the sidewalk along East 23rd Avenue. While this does provide a safe pedestrian connection and the design meets the intent of Land Use Policy 9.2.6, there is still potential for vehicular and pedestrian conflicts with cars backing out of garages. The request supports many policies related to housing the city's population within the comprehensive plan and ensures an adequate supply of housing is available to meet the needs of Tampa's present and future populations. The comprehensive plan also directs the greatest share of growth toward the urban villages. Overall, the proposed development is comparable and compatible and consistent with the future land use designation of the comprehensive plan. And that concludes my presentation if you have any questions.
Bravo. Any questions? Hearing none. Next.
For the record, Christopher DeMonch, Development Coordination. This particular site is located east of item number 7, which was just heard by this council. The subject property outlined in red is located on the south side of East 23rd Avenue. The subject block face and the subject site is located between North Nebraska Avenue and North 10th Street. The subject property is developed with a multiple family building as well as some open land area that has not, that is immediately east of the subject site. Looking at surrounding uses, we do have RS 50 zoning to the north with single-family detached dwellings. There is a planned development zone property located northeast of the subject site. This site was approved in June of 2025 for 2 single-family detached dwellings. East of the subject site, RS 50 zoning with single-family detached dwellings. West of the subject site, we have RS 50 zoning with single-family detached dwellings. And south of the subject site, we have RS 50 zoning with single-family detached dwellings as well as RM 16 zoning, and there is 1 single-family semi-detached dwelling unit located immediately south of the subject site. Much like the last case, this item was continued at the April 9th hearing. The applicant met with the neighborhood association. There have been some changes made. I'll make reference to them, but the applicant will show you those changes as part of their presentation. We're going to show you the site plan of record. So we do have the subject site, and we do show it on the south side of East 23rd Avenue. The subject property proposes 10 single-family attached dwelling units. There are 2 access points on the northwest corner. There's a 2-way access point, and on the northeast corner, we have a 2-way access point. There is a 2-way internal driveway. Units 1 through 5, the front doors of those units face the internal driveway, whereas units 6 through 10 face East 23rd Avenue. The all 10 units propose 2-car garages. These are 3-story structures. And then I do want to note that the applicant has requested a total of 3 waivers. First is the section 27-284. This requests to remove a non-hazardous grand live oak. As number 2, waiver number 2 is to section 27-240. This requests to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 15 feet to the proposed 10-foot setback. And the third waiver is to section 27-240. This is a request to have the front door orientation of units 1 through 5 face an internal drive rather than the right-of-way. Now, what the applicant changed with coordination from the neighborhood association is the addition of front porches along units 6 through 10 facing East 23rd Avenue, as well as some additional landscaping, which is not shown on this site plan, but there is some additional landscaping proposed that will be part of their presentation. Staff has reviewed both of these additions. We have no objection to them, and they've been incorporated into the revision sheet that is part of your staff report packet. And lastly, we want to show you those elevations. So we have the north elevation, south elevation, and east and west elevations. Those would be for units 6 through 10. These are for units 1 through 5. Similar design, but on 6 through 10, you'll see with the applicant's presentation the addition of those porches. Photos next. Subject property. Additional to the subject property, this is east of the building you just saw. North of the subject site. South of the subject site. We have east of the subject site and west of the subject site. And development coordination compliance staff has reviewed this application. We do find it consistent with the City of Tampa land development regulations, and should it be the pleasure of City Council to approve this application, modifications to the site plan as shown on the submitted revision sheet would be completed between first and second reading, and I'm available for any questions.
Council have any questions? Hearing none, applicant.
Good evening, Council. Steve Michelini. I have been sworn. And again, this was one of those projects that benefited greatly from our neighborhood meeting. We we had a lot of discussion about how to incorporate some of the changes that they were asking for. And we included more green space, and it's actually kind of a recreation area on one side of the property. It takes the parking issue off of 23rd Avenue and makes it, takes it internal to the site. And each of those units has two covered enclosed parking spaces. It is close to a transit corridor. We've added the green space. It takes the parking off of the main street. The porches and the balconies were added. And if you looked at it at the elevations that Christopher showed you, it emulates the bungalow style of houses that are in the immediate area. So we'll be using that on the new elevations you asked for the previous case. It is consistent by both the Planning Commission and the city staff. It is a R20 land use classification, which allows for the density that we're requesting. And basically, the oak, we tried to avoid having to take that one oak out, but unfortunately, it's in the middle of a drive aisle. The front setback from 15 to 10 feet is consistent with the setbacks that occur along the street, so it's not pushing it out any further than any of the other properties. And the front door access has to do with the rear units. When we shifted them around to keep the parking on the back and access that requires that waiver. I'll be happy to go through all of the rest of the report, the land use classifications and policies and conditions that are consistent with, if you like, or I just have to ask that they be received and filed and made part of the record.
We can receive and file them.
I'd like them.
You want to see? You're kidding. No more kidding tonight. It's 8:02.
So
Okay.
anyway, I'll be happy to answer any
Does
questions.
council have any questions of the applicant?
Again, Kim and the Neighborhood Association, we had extensive discussions regarding this and how to address their issues, and I think we've done that. So I'll turn it over.
Okay. Come on up. Anybody in the public wish to speak to this item? Start with your name. You have 3 minutes.
I live adjacent from this development proposal, and what
Start
I
with your name.
believe I just heard.
Name. Say your name, please.
Michael Bailey, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
apologize.
That's all right.
What I just heard is that this development will be consistent with the homes in the area, and it's not. There's nothing like that in the area, streets behind us, in front of us, so it wouldn't be consistent at all. The trees, the building across the street from me that caught on fire a year ago, I would love to see that building go. I'm fine with that. But that would bring, once again, more traffic onto 23rd, heading towards Nebraska. So you're doubling the amount of traffic that's looking to exit onto Nebraska Avenue. We already have a sewage problem on our side of 23rd. And that's, I don't know if the city's gonna do something about that, or if that's already been reflected in how this comes about, how this is built. But, oh, I'm not good at this. There's an elderly man that lives at the bottom at 10th and 23rd. I don't know how he's gonna do if his electric wheelchair and getting up. I know last year, one of the city crew workers came with the grinders that eat up the high spots. I don't know how he's gonna fare with this. My biggest concern is the traffic, and I don't know who my new neighbors are gonna be that are basically as far as you are to me right now. I've been sideswiped. My wife's vehicle has been sideswiped. The officer coming to see me said, "Well, what did you expect when you moved here?" My jaw dropped on the ground. This isn't going to get any better for me. My property value is probably going to fall. And this also sets a precedent, if that's the right word, for this to be built in other areas of our historic neighborhood. Now, on the other side of I-4 is historical, but on the north side of 22nd, it's considered VM Ybor, Victor Martinez Ybor.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
there's really no,
Thank you, sir. Your time has expired. Thank you. Next speaker, start with your name, please. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Kim Headland, reside at 1023 East 17th Avenue. I do want to start off again by thanking the applicant and acknowledging that they, both the civil engineer and Mr. McElhaney met with our group 2 times in person over the last 8 months and hosted 2 very lively community meetings where we discussed a lot of this. So I do want to acknowledge that several of the community concerns were addressed, specifically the added front porches, the evergreen landscaping to further buffer the dumpster, the replaced surface retention pond. They replaced that with the design for an underground stormwater system, and also significantly reduced the number of trees slated for removal from the original app. The one continued concern is massing, and I think Michael touched on this. It is a significant departure to have 2 east-west masses on those contiguous lots. The ultimate goal obviously is compatibility and to provide housing and to infill some of these important vacant parcels so we can have a more vibrant community. But a building that reads like a kind of large generic suburban townhome isn't necessarily compatible with the historic nature of the community, even if it's not a designated historic district. However, that being said, I think in general, we are hopeful that ultimately when an architect and a design team comes together and takes what is an approved PD and develops those buildings, that there will be some sensitivity to both the neighborhood and the East Tampa overlay, and that we've been fairly happy, pleasantly surprised to have the feedback and the communication that's been readily available from the applicant and his team. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McElhaney, before you start your rebuttal, I have my concerns, because mine is the massing and having those 2 buildings on the street. You're starting in a different form. So maybe you could address that and convince me that it's the right way to go, because right now I'm a little apprehensive. In other words, like when I look at that parcel, I would see, if you're going to develop townhomes, that you would have townhomes that go all the way through and have a backyard, real front yard. And
I think, that's why we, if you, where are those pictures, Chris? See, what we tried to do was to pick up that kind of design element with the bungalow-style roof. If you look, I guess, look at them like, no, it's not. There we go. So, it's not an exact replication, but we'll have to meet the East Tampa overlay design guidelines. And these are they're generically representative of what we're trying to do, but you see the peaks here and the peaks here, and how you break. This is actually the rest of the wall there is recessed. This comes out. So it's not real clear because these are not design documents, but the elements are there, and we're trying to replicate that so that it breaks up that facade. And the street side is going to be far more attractive. That's the side that we added the balconies and the porches to. This, you're seeing the back side on this one, this, what's that? Oh, there we go.
Those are for 1 through 5, and that's 6 through 10.
Yeah. You see where the entrances are, we put the parapets over here? I mean, these little cupolas where the entryways, this is the side that's facing the street. And again, this portion of the building is brought forward, and these windows, and this is the wall section here, that's recessed. So you do have a lot more of design elements here than you normally would see. And again, if you look back to see, this is what that picks up those design elements from things like that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but if you could address this concern. I mean, my concern is not this design element, because I see what you're saying, you're picking up your front porch. But you're bringing this front building really close to the street, really closer to the street than what I saw on some of these other pictures for these other homes. Correct? Do you have a block frontage for the other?
We haven't done that average, but we can bring it back to you. But these are not 20 feet back. These houses, this one is further back.
That one is, and that one is. So my question, again, when I look at this block, is this, you've heard us say this before, too much on too little, that if this was one building of townhouses with the appropriate setback, with the design elements you're talking about with the front porches, but adding that drive aisle in the back with the 5 or 6 units you have in the back, really kind of the massing and scale, because you're introducing a completely different element into a single-family neighborhood. Townhouses itself appear to be a completely different element, but by adding that second building, you're really you're putting a totally different type of construction in this area.
Well, there are others that have something similar to that, but you see that this is pretty close to the street. The right-of-way line is right here where the back of the sidewalk is, and so is this one.
Okay.
You can see that they're pretty close to the right-of-way, but you also have about another 10 feet or so between the sidewalk and the edge of the curb.
Do you have any other examples in this neighborhood where there's 2 buildings running parallel to the street that, this type of construction, like alley type of construction?
I didn't come with anything like that, but I can bring it back to you. I don't know. I think there are some, but I just don't. It's further down.
Yeah.
So it's not completely brand new to this area. This one, you see the driveway here, this goes behind.
Is there other single-family houses or other houses behind that?
I didn't take that picture, I believe so, but Christopher can talk about it.
Christopher DeMonch, Development Coordination. These photos here, this is across the street from item number 7. So these are closest to Nebraska, but they are examples of the homes being.
But this is on Nebraska though, right?
This is on the same street, East 23rd. They're just closer to Nebraska. So,
And what's behind these houses?
we have to bring the aerial up. Well, that's across the street.
Yeah,
Let's
it's a
see here.
commercial building.
Just a moment. There we go.
I mean, do we see anything like that in this area?
These are the 2 homes in question on that photo we just showed you. can't tell exactly what.
Yeah, that's kind of bordering Nebraska, though. I mean, I know it's a
Yeah.
side yard, but yeah, that's
So
different.
Subject house, subject properties right here, and then these
Yeah.
are examples that we just provided here, as well as here.
But that's in a CG, that's CG over there too, so we're kind of apples and oranges here.
Well, this is residential down in here, but
But I'm seeing the two parcels that he was showing to me before, but I don't see any other alley-style development anywhere in this.
well, it's not alley, we're creating a drive aisle
Oh,
behind it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, still, yeah, building on top of building. Again, it just seems like you've got
Well, we haven't,
a single-family depth lot, and we're squeezing too deep on there.
well, it's very deep. This lot is, where are the dimensions on that? Yeah, it's 139, that's almost 40 feet deeper than a regular lot.
But you're putting a driveway and a building.
Well, we can, modify it some if the staff allows it, so that it's narrower. And, we wanted the wider driveway on the further east side for the dumpster and the dumpster access, which is what they asked for, with additional landscaping and buffering on that end.
But wouldn't this make more sense to, again, have townhouses, just through townhouses with one building with a legitimate setback on the front yard and legitimate setback on the backyard? And you're still introducing something new because there's townhouses in this neighborhood, but you would have, less mass.
Well, the mass is really viewed from the street side, not from the back. You're not gonna, the massing is not going to occur in terms
Okay,
visually.
mass and density, how's that? I don't know.
Well, the density complies with your R20, so this whole neighborhood is already, have an R20 designation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care for it, but I'll let other council members chime in on this. Councilwoman Young?
I have some of the same concerns. I do, like that you introduced, having, kind of like a front porch style to kind of fit in with the, surrounding homes in the area. But, I mean, my concern also was going to be just the massing. And I do see, what you're trying to do as far as like the elements on the surrounding homes. But I would have to kind of agree, Councilman
Well,
Clinton.
if you'd like to see some reworking of the site plan and reworking of some of the elements, we'd have to go back to DRC, right? Yeah,
Send it back to first reading?
We would have to go back to DRC. We would not, I don't think you could have a first reading, but that's really up to LaShawn and Susan. Those kind of changes are dramatic. And so reviewing those back again with staff, if the council wishes for us to do that, you'd probably have to send us back to staff to work the site plan
So
conditions.
some staff give us some guidance.
This Christopher DeMonch Development Coordination, if they were to do some redesign of the site, this would need to go back to DRC. This would, at a minimum, 3 departments, transportation,
So what would you need
zoning.
from us this evening to make this happen?
We would request, the applicant would need,
Give me a date.
yeah, we give you a date here. Are you gonna eliminate the second building or just redesign?
We're gonna have to the issue of eliminating the second building is strictly it's a financial issue. I mean, your land costs dictate, what you have to have in order to get back. So I'm guessing, what do you want to do? Request a continuance here? I mean, you're gonna have, I can't,
I apologize. LaShawn, Dock Development Coordination. So we can request a continuance, but staff needs clear direction as to what the applicant is to work on in between that time of continuance.
Okay, well,
If it is the-
let's see if we can reach a consensus up here before we do that. I mean, I think the two of us agree it is that second building's the problem, but if you're saying this is not developable without that second building, I mean.
well, you have such a deep lot. Two things have to happen. Either you increase the size of the front units, or you decrease the size of both units so that you make them fit and come into your, your view of what you'd like to see.
To me, it seems like just forward-facing, 23rd Street, forward-facing townhouses that run through. If there have to be larger units, then so be it, but,
Again, I can't commit for the owners on this. I can commit to go back and see what we can do.
I mean, I'm empathetic with the cause, but it just, again, this is introducing a totally different element in this neighborhood.
Can you work, oh, sorry.
So, I mean, how does everybody else feel?
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
The mass of it is not
Yeah.
what's on the sides of it.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, so it seems like we're asking you to, if you're able to go back and re-envision this with the single building, re-envision it with the rear loading garages, man, that would even be more perfect, but if you can't, you can't, but
What's the date, Chris?
Can you go back,
yeah,
go
that's what
back?
he's doing now.
But also between now and then, speaking with the neighborhood association again?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Councilman Carlson.
Yeah, I think, Steve, I agree with Chair's comments. It's different than the rest of the neighborhood.
Another October hearing. I don't want both these on the
I
same
think
date.
that's not far away from what we did earlier today on the gentleman on 21st, the affordable housing,
Yeah.
about 2 blocks away.
So, besides meeting the neighborhood association, I'd ask you to meet with Mr. Bailey also and see if there's some way to.
Yeah, we're very familiar with working with Kim and her organizing meetings. We'd have to go back to them too.
Right.
The trade-off is we need density, we need more accessible pricing on housing, but at the same time, we can't just disrupt existing neighborhoods that don't have any pattern in this. So I think that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that
What date do we have?
September 10th, it looks like.
September 10th, we can do
If they're
that?
willing, the earliest DRC we could get them on would be July 21st or 22nd. So if they were to work with getting a quick turnaround after DRC's held, we could aim to get them back before you on September 10th.
Okay, so-
The more protracted way, and I would say like if you were applying for a new application altogether, if you went into DRC in July, you would be on October 8th. But we
So
could try for that
Are
September.
you comfortable with September 10th?
Yeah, let's try for that, and if we run into a time issue, we'll come back to you and ask for an additional
Okay,
time.
that's good.
I think that's probably.
I need a motion with the date and time. And
September
location.
10th at 5 p.m., 5:01 p.m. at 315 East Kennedy, Tampa, Florida.
Okay, we have a motion to continue this to, as stated by Councilman Vera, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? The
And
ayes
the
have it.
justification is the requested changes in the
To not
site,
introducing the double buildings into the
the
neighborhood.
site plan and et cetera.
Yeah.
But I think you have to say that as well, don't you?
Well, I think we gave the guidance to them because they were looking for guidance of what we were looking for you guys to discuss behind the scenes. Oh, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Christopher DeMonch, Development Coordination. So your guidance would be for them to look to designing a single building with rear vehicular access to the site? Or
Yes.
access to garages behind the units?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll resolve that issue.
Or an alternate that meet your
Right, yes,
consideration,
yeah.
concerns.
Trying to
Okay,
be
thank you.
more aesthetic into the neighborhood. Yeah, okay, very good. Well, that,
And don't you also want better elevations?
that would not hurt. Yes. Si, señor.
Just
Gra-
reading your mind tonight.
Gracias, por favor.
Thank you very much, council.
Okay. Okay, you want to announce it? Yep, yeah, we're good.
Okay, motion carried unanimously with Hurtek being absent.
Okay, thank you so much. That concludes our regular scheduled program, new business. Councilman Carlson.
I have 3 hopefully quick ones. The first 2 were requested by members of the community. First is I would like to make a motion for staff to provide a written report with an inventory of each existing city master plan and its age for the July 16th meeting.
I have a motion from Councilman Carlson. Is there a second? We have a second from Councilman Viera. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Oh, that other is closed, so we don't have anything else. There's no more public comment on that. But you're welcome to email us or or you can call individual council members. But you can email us if you'd like.
That doesn't do,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir.
Should this have been publicly noted so that not just the people in the association, but people off the
It is.
street,
It's
down the
public.
street?
It is. It is. In fact, you might want to ask one of the staff
All the
persons.
signage
Or Steve,
has
can you
not
speak
been
with him for
updated.
us?
That was there
Yeah.
The
from
signage,
3 weeks ago. The stakes in the ground saying that the meeting is at this date, that's.
Okay.
by the way, sir, if I can, you can speak to staff, Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney, just to let you know to make a note of the date and time. You will not get any notice in the mail, and there will not be posted signs. It's not required by the code. So please do take the advantage of talking to staff to be able to be clear.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
Okay?
Okay, very
The
good.
staff is who?
Any of
This
these?
gentleman right here, or Ms.
Yeah.
Doc over there?
Here, Miss Doc over at the door is waving you over. Sir? So look to your other side. That way. Thank you. Okay, Councilman Carlson?
Second one is, I would like to make a motion for staff to provide a written report on the study and recommendations completed for the Land Development Code, construction services fees, and their timelines for July 16th meeting.
I have a motion from Councilman Carlson, second from Councilman Viera. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
The last one is just one that I added. I've been hearing that, I haven't listened to all the Charter Review Commission meetings, but I've been hearing that they dismiss most or all of our questions that we asked. And now the mayor's political advisor is sitting there. Some members feel intimidated by that and bullied to follow certain things by the mayor. It's one thing if the mayor wants to send memos, but to push the committee in a certain direction. I guess what it means is if they're going to do that, then we should go sit there as well. So that's a side issue. But I would like to make a motion to ask the Charter Review Committee to give us an update on the answers to our questions on July 30th.
Okay.
So have a representative come and give us their response to our questions. We had about 30 questions. We need to know whether they're going to answer our questions or not, and as kind of a midpoint. And if they're not, then we need to figure out what we're going to do about it.
I've been advised they've dismissed all of our questions. But anyway, so I have a motion from Councilman Carlson, a second from?
So if I may, I'll second that, but can we get it like time limited, like maybe 10 minutes?
Oh,
or-
for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
just, I mean.
Are you asking for a presentation from them? Is that
Yes.
what it is?
Basically, yeah, just
Under what part of the agenda?
under presentations, I guess. There is now.
When I look, on July 30th, it looked to me like it was. I don't know if somebody else.
Nowhere full. And that's the budget
Can we do it written? Can they do a report written?
Somebody's going to have to draft it.
Unfortunately,
Somebody's going
probably,
to have to appear.
probably we're going to get Ashley, but,
Can we do August 6th?
yeah, August 6th.
August 6th.
I second with the 10 minutes.
Okay, we
15,
have a
whatever.
motion from Councilman Carlson for August 6th for the Charter Review Commission
I say,
to,
by the way, I said unfortunately, Ashley, because I think she's someone who wants to follow the questions, and there are others who disagree. It would be better if the ones who disagree would come and tell us why. But
Okay.
anyway,
so we have a motion from Councilman Carlson to have the Charter Review Commission come to City Council to answer the,
to
where
give us
there's.
an update on the answers to our questions.
Okay,
What, August 6th?
Yeah, there's just police.
no, August 6th is good,
At least it is here.
unless there's something that we don't know about. Do you have another one, or is that the last one?
That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're going to be, I'm sure. Councilman Viera.
Yes, sir. My aide, Sebastian, is coming with a memo with some supporting documents and a motion I'm making about the raise in revenue sources. And Sebastian will be coming shortly on those. It's come to my attention. I'm joking. I'm not doing anything. No.
What is up with you today?
I wanted to scare y'all. You're like, no, please.
Yeah,
no more raise. No more. It is come to my attention. I have nothing.
Okay, are you not going to yell at him for that?
Don't point at me like that. Like that? Stop it.
Can I say one thing about that, Rebecca?
No. No. I'll get back to you after the last person. Councilwoman Young. See, how was that channeling Councilwoman Young as a chair? No.
She's a lot tougher.
Surprisingly, I don't have anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you all drained me today.
That's to make up for being mean to us earlier.
Oh,
But-
I forgot. This is not, may I just really fast 10 seconds,
No.
Mr. Chair? Oh, no. No, but
Go
just,
ahead.
so I did want to say that we have all come to an agreement on July 17th as Tampa City Council Karaoke Day.
Oh,
So let it be written. So it's on our,
Please put, Sam, put that on my schedule. Councilman Maniscalco.
I have nothing, thank you.
Councilman Miranda.
I have more to say, but I won't do it.
Okay, so you heard this already today. This is for the council version of it. I motion for the city council attorney and city attorney's office to work with any relevant department, CRA director and CRA attorney, to create standard rules and procedures, i.e. attendance, quorum, opening and closing timeline for applications, et cetera, for all committees and boards, and return with a draft on September 3rd, 2026 for city council.
We have a motion from Chairman Clendenin, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you have a copy for the clerk?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a CRA thing, and now it's a
And she has,
council
she
thing.
has another, because the date is different for the city council. Yes. Speaking of Charter Review Commission, Rob Henderson sent an email, which you all should have. They are, as probably alluded to by Councilman Carlson earlier, they are requesting input from city council on establishing a zoning hearing master or similar to ensure that we have expert input when we're making our decisions. So I'm just bringing that to your attention as input. If you choose to provide them with that input, I will leave that up to you. I'm choosing not to. I would like to also acknowledge that tomorrow is the 10-year anniversary of the Pulse Massacre in Orlando, and a sad day for the state of Florida and just the other nation as well. Yes, and we all have, or at least I have had friends that had family members or friends that were involved in that shooting. In fact, ironically, I was in Orlando that evening for a conference and was supposed to go there that night, but did not. So, yeah.
And one gentleman is buried here in Tampa at Myrtle Hill.
Yeah.
My family knew his family, and one of the survivors is also in the West Tampa area, and we see her every so often. But yeah, 10 years. I remember that
10 years
morning.
ago. Yeah,
I woke up and it was like 5 victims, 10 victims. I mean, it was awful. But
all people
absolutely.
going out for a night to have fun and be with people that they love and care about, and then to have it end like that is just awful. Councilman Cross.
I want to say something quick about that, and I think it was a horrible attack against the LGBT community, and it was horrible for all of us to observe that, and we all had friends that were connected in some way, probably. But the other thing is, I was in Brussels with my oldest son, and Brussels the airport had just been attacked a couple months earlier, and so all my family was afraid. People were saying, be careful going through Brussels. We went from Brussels to London, landed in Brussels, and found out Orlando had been hit. Yeah. And so not only was it an attack against the LGBT community, but it showed how vulnerable we are anywhere in the world. People worry about different kinds of countries, but this happened in Orlando. It was terrifying. The other thing I want to say is there's for fun, I've been watching all the conspiracy theories on Twitter about the raise issue, and I just want to say, for the record, probably nobody's watching, but I don't know about you, but the Rays personally asked me. They said they weren't ready for today to discuss it, and the conspiracy theories, stupid city council, they're delaying it, all this stuff. The Rays asked us to do this. Is that correct for you too?
That is correct.
They requested this, and so I wish the conspiracy theories would stop. It's not necessary, and And what we did today, I think, is in earnest trying to bring a resolution to a negotiation process. Thank you.
You know, one last thing about, because I get a little bit emotional on the Pulse thing too, is because of being a member of the LGBT community, and those of us that are minorities and have been discriminated against, and you see this within the Jewish community now, and people that are targeted, and we see it here in City Council. We see the hate, and I'm proud that this is a council that stands up routinely and universally against that, regardless of who's. And I think that we are a city that stands up against that hate. I appreciate personally the support that I've received from my coworkers here, Councilman Vera, with the motion that you made, with some of the stuff that's directed personally at me, and I hope that we continue to be that council and to be that city that doesn't tolerate hate based on who you are, what race, what ethnicity, what religious affiliation, or who you love, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
That was a joke.
Funny.
That was a joke. And Mr. Chairman, may I say something really quick? The 10-second?
Go ahead.
Thank you. That I'm proud that our chairman of city council is a gay man. I'm proud that our mayor is a gay woman. And we also remember great heroes in our time, like the late officer Lois Marrero, and Mr. Miranda remembers the great struggle she had when she was killed in action. So again, a lot of LGBT heroes here in Tampa. So God bless you.
Thank you so much. Okay, motion to receive and file. Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.